You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Well, I just want to let you all know from the jump that this is an action-packed episode of Ernestly Speaking. There's so much going on this week and so much that has happened over the past couple of days that I just want to give you all warning that this episode is going to be lit, like heavy. There is going to be a lot to unpack, to get into. And, with everything that's going on in the world and pop culture, my personal life, it's so much. So I just want to let you all know that we're going to go in. I always go in my episodes, but this episode, we're going to be going extra in because so much has went down and a lot of stuff has come to the surface. And for so many of you all who have been listening to this podcast from the very beginning, a lot of the things that I have called and predicted and have called into the future, I guess, almost like a prophecy, a lot of that stuff came to light. And I'm in a position to say I told you also, because I did, but also it's a chance to learn and educate and to really not keep making the same mistakes, because at this point, it's not even a mistake. It's deliberate in some of these cases, but it's just so much going on. So let's just get into it. So first off, this week was a birthday anniversary week. As you all know, my birthday was on October 12th. I am now 31 years old and just celebrated anniversary. October 16th is our 1 year anniversary. Mr. Johnson and I, we got married a year ago. And, now there's press about the 1 year anniversary in Philly Mag. So if you go to Philly Mag, and check out the wedding section, they'll be running a piece about our 1 year of love and our experiences and our thoughts about marriage. They interview me and ask me what are some of the things that I've learned being a married man. Now, as I'm married, I've been married for a year, but I've been taken off the market for many years. So to be quite honest, I don't feel that much of a difference, except that I do feel like when you're married, there is just non-negotiables with everything else around you. Like, there is a sense of fulfillment and fullness. And I'm not talking about fulfillment career-wise, purpose-wise, but just there's a lot of things that no longer is a question. There's just, a guarantee, a commitment that is for life. And I know some people say, well, you don't have to get married to have that. That's true. But I do think there's something beautiful about a ceremony that kind of celebrates that and brings that together. And again, I know that we're in different times where people have different thoughts about marriage and the institution of marriage. But to be honest, to me, marriage is just simply a public announcement of one's commitment. And if you want to get into legalities of it, a legal, formatting of such information. So that's important. And some people may not think it is, and that is what it is. But I will tell you, as somebody who's walked down the aisle, the feeling that you get, the see your friends, your family, and the tears and all the joy that comes from all of it is worthless. And it's priceless, I guess. You can't put a price on me, worthless. It's priceless. It's very worth. It's a lot of worth, but it's priceless. And I also think of it the same way when I tell my students who are questioning, the college. I have, I'm an adjunct professor at Cheney, and I'm teaching my students, doing this freshman seminar this semester, and a lot of them are questioning the value of college and why should they do it, and it's not so much about, they're not even having a conversation about college on a financial aid situation, which we'll get to about that in a minute. This is a conversation they're just having about doing it all together, and we have those conversations about, like, what's the value? And they think it's just about getting a degree. But I tell people, we're seeing so many people right now in our society that are making mistakes and errors that are historical, information driven, and just maturity wise. And I think college, if done appropriately and correctly, will help one have a larger perspective about the world they live in society, will come to a place of having a little bit of an elevated intellectual um, ability to process certain things. I mean, there's just a lot of different values that come from college that I think sometimes is underestimated. And I think we spend so much time, debating this, like, oh, why get a college degree? Why not? And I think the reality is that the question should be, why not, right? Why not do it? If you can, why not take advantage of being in spaces to elevate your thinking? And to those people who've gotten college degrees, who have went to Ivy League schools, who went to top tens, who went to different places, who have gotten jobs that go around talking about colleges and worth it, stop lying to these kids. Stop lying to them, because a lot of the things that you know about society, the way that you write, the way that you read, a lot of those things are grounded in those experiences. And if you had a socially awkward experience in college and you may not have enjoyed it, don't take it away from somebody who hasn't. Especially for a lot of our marginalized individuals that are coming from backgrounds where they're not getting an upper mobility as fast. They don't come from money. There's certain things, I never will regret my college experience. I never will. Okay, college, like everything, isn't easy, but I learned so much, and I was able to have intellectual challenges to make me think differently. I came to college one way, I walked out a very different way, and built lasting relationships and friendships. I met my husband in college. I met my best friend, a lot of my best friends in college. I learned and grew. I was able to take opportunity experiences that I got there and apply them to other people and give them to other people, to offer resources and expertise that I gained in college somewhere else. I learned how to establish my business. I built skills that are still continuing to further me. And I just think sometimes you can get so caught up in your privilege that you may think that these things could have been done elsewhere, but it's hard. It's hard. And I tell my students that I'm working with so many people. As a journalist, I go out and I talk to different people who are scammed, who are being ripped off by different entities that take advantage of their lack of education. And we live in a society where the uneducated are often preyed upon. And to be a Black queer young man that can be able to go in these spaces and uplift and provide information in my community to people that are exploiting people in my community, that's a powerful tool. And I think sometimes we deny and do a disservice to young people when we act like that college shouldn't be in the conversation. I understand that college debt is real, but and I understand that there are barriers, and I think that those are legitimate ways. But I think if you can do it and there are resources and there is work, shoot that shot, because you're not going to regret it. It's not just about getting a job. It's just about having a different type of mindset about the world, understanding the institutions that you're entering. It doesn't alleviate those issues, but it educates you on how to better dismantle them. And you have an obligation to take that information and put it in communities of people who may not have those same resources. That's what I do. That's what I strive to do. That's why I have a podcast like this. A lot of what I talk about in my podcast was shaped by my education. I read books like Pedagogy of the Oppressed. I learned about, feminism. I learned a lot about critical race theory. I did a lot of that because that was stuff that taught me how to think and how to shape my business and how to shape the friends I want and the world I want for myself. That was reading. That was debating. That was having conversations with scholars. We need to bring intellectualism back into the public space. We need to decolonize, the white supremacy that makes it unattainable and inaccessible to people. We definitely need to do that in the academy, but we need to bring this back. We need to expand it, and we need to be able to promote it. And I will never be against that. My brother, who's currently a sophomore at Temple, he had the same debates, saying, hey, I don't know, college, yeah, he was iffy about it. And I said, no, you need to go. One, because you can, and two, because it provides you an opportunity to learn a lot of different things. He's a cishet male. He definitely needs to be going to college and taking certain classes. And I work with him on his syllabus, and we talk about, I mean, not his syllabus, but his course load and all the things he applied to. But it's great, and it's wonderful because as he's developing his thoughts about the world, it's great to be able to see him learn new things, and we talk about it. And he reads a lot of my articles, and he'll say, "Oh, I read about this. My brother wrote about this." And people, his teachers and stuff, his professors read my stuff, so they be like, "Oh, that's your brother." And sometimes I'll be like, "Don't expect him, y'all, to have the same type of thinking I have," because he's 19. He has to, he has to figure things out. But it's been dope. It's been dope seeing that. So I'm going to always encourage that. And I encourage it to my freshman students I'm teaching at Cheney. I just tell them, listen, there all these things you see that I do that a lot of them look up to. I'm like, this was connected in some type of way to my college education. A lot of it. So I 10/10, I would highly recommend. And, for those people who can't, right? Put yourself around people who are. Put yourself in spaces with people who are doing the work. Read from scholars, read from experts. Check, get books that are written from people who have experience in the field, right? Because I'm saying all this because I'm laying down the foundation of what happens to a society that consumes media from people who do not have the range. I'm saying this from that kind of point of mind. So just putting it out there. But birthday, anniversary week was filled with lots of surprises. I just have to say I have the best friends in the world. All these gifts. I got a Bell Hooks autographed poetry book, Appalachian Elegy, autographed. It was a lovely gift. I have great gift cards, like thoughtful gift cards. Like one of my faves, Amanda, gave me, a Friday, Saturday, Sunday gift card. Now, you all have been listening to this podcast. Y'all know that Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my favorite restaurant in Philadelphia. And she gave me that card. Now, Scholston Collection, facial gift cards, donations, gifts from another man who has a doctorate, which will not be named. If you know the joke, you know the joke. Where's that school? Dr. Umar Johnson. See, I had to say the name. I could not have not misquoted him. Lots of donations, lots of gifts. So many surprises. Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists, who I'm the proud president of. They surprised me with a lovely cake from Carlos Bakery. It was this interesting cake that I got. It was a layered cake. It was like sweet potato pie for one layer, sweet potato pie casserole, and then there was like another layer of sweet potato pie cheesecake. I think it was like a layered cake of 3 layers. And this is what comes out in the fall. It was very egregious, but not egregious in a bad way. I guess it was a lot. It was overindulgent. It was obnoxious. But of course, they just know I'm extra, and the E in Ernest stands for extra and educated. Okay. But I was in love with that cake, and they still have that cake running right now. So if you are interested in trying this cake, I encourage you to get it and plan to eat it with other people. I could eat it by myself. We all shared it. But the cake basically it's a sweet potato pie, it's a sweet potato cake, it's a sweet potato casserole. Sweet potato casserole is at the top. The next layer is sweet potato cake, and then the sweet potato pie is a third layer. Yes, they did the most, okay? They did the absolute most, but I love them so much, and I cannot wait to serve as their president for a second term. I'm unopposed for PABJ president. My whole entire board, the whole slate, we got nominated by membership, and it'll be another term as president. So here we go, another one. So yeah, we did that. 3/4 of the Lit Brothers, myself, Gio, and Josh, no, myself, Jamarcus, and Josh. Gio will celebrate his anniversary this week. Listen, Libra season is like the best, right? Everybody's got all these anniversaries. Shout out to all these October anniversaries. All of these people got married around the same time. I guess we love a fall wedding, don't we? And everybody got all these kids. Listen, I was trying to figure out why are a lot of birthdays around this time. I found out, you all, for black people, contraception was mid-January. Do you know what mid-January is for black people? Martin Luther King weekend. Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King weekend. So my parents was getting frisky during MLK weekend. Okay. So all those parties, those parades, clearly there was people cuddling up, but a lot went down during MLK weekend. Cause that's why I was trying to figure out, why is all these black people Libras? Like, why is all these people being born around this time? And also, we love a fall wedding. People in general love a fall wedding. So all the October, we just love a fall wedding, don't we? I love a fall wedding. I'm tired of summer and spring weddings. No shade to the people who've had them, okay? But it's something about a fall wedding that snaps, because I like an indoor situation. I like a little chill. I like the decadence of wearing a nice coat or dressing cute. You know, the weather's just right around fall. So, I mean, what can I say? The taste. But for all the black folks that are Libras that I'm seeing, I think that's what happened. It's giving, so early September Libras, that means that you all were born during New Year's week. So that early New Year's is why a lot of Libras, those September Libras, your parents are having during New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, which makes a lot of sense. And then for those who were born around my time, October 12th, in the middle, that was MLK weekend. So that's just what it is, y'all. Parents is getting busy, okay? It was a lot to celebrate back around those times. So that's how conceptions happen. Just for context. So anyway, Josh, myself, Jamarcus, and of course, Mr. Johnson, we celebrate my birthday, continuation after the party at Rex at the Royal. We had the party with the gang, but this was special. We went to Weston, Maine at Conshohocken, which is outside of Philly, and it's a new restaurant at that hotel. Weston, Maine is the location, is the hotel, but there is a restaurant there that was just gorgeous. The food there was incredible, and we had such a good time. And I just got to say that Nicole Cashman of Cashman Associates and the whole gang, they surprised me. They represent this restaurant, and they surprised me with this lovely bottle of Veuve. And y'all know I love VC. Y'all know I love Veuve. They surprised me about Veuve with these large sparklers. And they had a jazz musician had the happy birthday melody. All of this at the restaurant. They knew he was on key with the saxophone. And the way he did the happy birthday, you hear it as him saying happy birthday, like Ernest, like with my name. You can hear the melody. It took me out. But the love was just felt, and just incredible. I just, words cannot describe the sheer joy that I got from just all of that. Conshohocken was fabulous. The food was fabulous. The love was felt. Just speechless. But it was fun. We was at Hook and Ladder, was the restaurant that's inside of Weston, Maine Hotel, and it was genius. The food was stellar. We had oysters. I've been loving oysters, y'all. Lately we had steak. It was fabulous. A great old time with the boys, and many more to come very, very soon. Lip Brothers were great. And Nicole Cashman's phenomenal. We continued on, other gifts. So many surprises. I got a facial from Crown Jewel Estheticians, Aesthetics or Estheticians. There's a woman named Jewel Williams, who is a Black queer woman who owns this. It's in Rittenhouse Square. If you check my Instagram, she gave me this lovely Hydra facial. Y'all, it's the best damn facial I have. Like Hydra, I can't recall having a facial this good. Now, I was at Heyday last week, and Heyday was good. But it was something about the way she did my skin that she showed me all the gunk she got out of my skin. But she taught me something, and I got a wonderful product there from a company called Circadia. They have these really great line of skin products that are just phenomenal. But I didn't know anything about and some of y'all are gonna laugh at me because some of y'all probably have been doing this. But I have to tell this to my men in hygiene, my men in skincare, to all the brothers out here that is trying to get their skin right because cuffing season is here. A lot of things are going on. Even if you're no longer on cuffing season, it's still called boo season because we'll get a Halloween boo. Okay, we got to get this skin together, and so. This technique changed my entire skincare regimen, and y'all know how I'm in skincare. Y'all say it's great genes. Well, y'all say it's great genes. Amanda says that because she be teasing me because I was like, I sleep, I do hydration. Hey, it's also good genes, Ernest. Okay, fine. I have great genes, but I maintain them because there's a lot of people out here who done came from good genes and then they let their skin go. So it doesn't matter. You got to maintain. So this cool technique she taught me. That is changing. And I need all of, if you know this already, shake your head and go, mm-hmm. And for people who don't, this is a moment for us to learn together. No judgment here. So oil cleansing as a prerequisite before you do the rest of your skincare regimen. So a lot of people think this is weird about using an oil-based product. Now, if you have oily skin and things, maybe this may not work for you. But for people who have normal skin or combination or other things, this oil cleansing situation is a game changer. So basically, you could get an oil-based cleanser. You just, Google oil-based cleanser, and a lot of products will come up. I mean, Burt's Bees, other people do. But I use this from a company called Circadia. Now, this is Circadia. I'll spell it again, Circadia. Now, Circadia has an oil-based cleanser. This is the one she recommended me, which I got. And she also sells all the Circadia products at her location in Renton House. So if you're looking for crown jewel aesthetics, I tagged them. All of that's there. Julie Williams is her name. It's Julie, and she spells it like Jewel, but is a Lee. It's really interesting how the name is spelled. But Julie Williams, and she's incredible at what she do. Incredible black queer woman who's doing some incredible stuff in skincare. She knows her stuff. Okay, she is a pro. So let me explain this oil cleansing thing and the logic behind it. In order to get fight fire with fire, sometimes you have to use the same product to get it out. This is a clean, pure, oil-based cleanser where you just take it. You don't wash your face. You don't do anything. Your dirty face. Just get a little bit of this oil, whatever product you choose. The oil cleanser, just get a little pout, maybe like a dime size, not too much. And you rub all of that on your face. Now, your face will be greasy. That's good. This oil will lift the other oil and dead skin cells and dirt and fuels off of your skin. So this is going to lift it up because the oil is going to connect to the lipids in the skin to take all of those dirt out. Look at me sound like I'm somebody's dermatologist, but it's real. This oil will lift out the other dead particles and products and things, and it will take those particles out. Then you're supposed to get a nice, soft, warm cloth or something, and you need to nicely, softly pat it out and wipe it off, but not heavy. Don't fuck up the pores. You just take it out. That's going to take all of that gunk, that surface level oil and gunk off the skin. Now, at this point, whatever type of product you want to use an oil-free face wash, any type of foam or deep cleaning face wash that you probably have already, right? Then you go in and wash. Now that's going to do the deep cleaning. Before I was doing oil cleansing, I was just doing what I normally do. Pat some warm water, get the face wash, do what I do. The problem with that is that as you saw from what I described earlier, that dirt and those dirt properties, that is all in the skin. That's not good. That's all in the, you're rubbing and moving that shit all around your face. Now, let's be clear. The deep clean do remove some of it off, clearly, but it's not taking it all out first. So you can't really get the real maximum benefit of the deep clean washer because it's taking the other stuff out. It is cleaning the skin, but it's not doing the real deep work because you haven't removed that surface. So the deep clean work is getting out of one barrier into the next and is weakening it. You need to use an oil cleanser to get that barrier out and then go into the penetration with the deep clean that penetrates straight to the skin and do that real deep clean that the oil is not going to do. Because the oil is just removing the oil out. And it's also removing some dirt. But that deep clean takes out some dirt, puts in the minerals and everything else from the product, and then give it the real clean. Y'all, I did this over the weekend. And results, honey. I felt the difference. I saw the difference. And I'm going to keep doing it. And if y'all see me at these events and you seeing this glow and you seeing this skin, you know what I'm doing. It is no joke. I'm a believer. She converted me and I have seen it instantly. And when she did my face for my facial, I feel like that was the difference between what I got from the other people I go to versus her, because she did that oil first before she did everything else. That shit is real. And people have been doing it already for women who are those who use makeup or do makeup products, male or female or non-binary, because, you know, everyone uses makeup. This is a way, you can also do this as a makeup renewal. So you can use this product as a way to remove makeup. If you have makeup or any other product before you wash your face, this takes off makeup too. So let's say, for example, you wanted to, you had some makeup or you had some other powder on your face before. You can apply this oil cleanser and you don't have to do anything else. It will remove the makeup and everything. So this takes everything off the surface first. And for men who don't wear makeup or don't use makeup, I don't use makeup, I don't wear makeup either. For those who don't, you still need to use it because it's going to take off whatever surface debris that's on the face. Our face contains debris and other things on the surface, regardless of whether it's makeup or not. But the oil cleanser will take that off first before we do the deep clean of the moisturizer. Then, of course, after you do the deep clean, y'all know we got to use a toner. Stop skipping toner. I just want to say that to some people. People are like, why do I use toner? You need to use toner, aka witch hazel, whatever. You need to use some type of toner because that is going to clean off a lot of the residue from the soap. Or not soap, but from the cleanser. We don't really use soap anymore. I don't really use bar soap for my face. Don't do it unless it's meant for skincare. So that's very crucial. And then after we do the toner, what do? We do the serum. Use a serum, y'all. It is about to get cold outside. We cannot play with our layers. Use a serum to replenish anything that was stripped away from the restripping of the soap residue. Because sometimes the witch hazel works so effectively that it does sometimes may take out some properties that came from the wash. You use a serum to cover. Once you use that serum, then you know what you need to apply next. The moisturizer. And moisturizer is important. We do not use lotion for our face. We do not use cocoa butter for our face. We use it for our ass, our elbows, and our knees, but not for the face. That's too much oil and grease in there. That's how you get your pores clogged. Then you use that, and then what else do you use? I highly recommend, in addition to that skin barrier, after we get the oils, we do something else. Serum, moisturizer, sunscreen. Now, if you can get a moisturizer that has SPF in it already, super dope. But if you don't, if you're going outside, we need to use that sunscreen. Black people, we still need to use sunscreen. We may not need to use the heavy amounts, but we still need to use it for our skin to protect our skin. Skincare is important. You don't want to, get sun bumps. And then after that, you're done. Now, if you want some extra credit, I recommend in between process, right after you do the face wash, sometimes you can spray a little bit throughout the day of a facial mist. That's for my extra people. It's not necessary, but I use it to keep the skin a little hydrated. And then throughout the week, may invest in a skincare mask, a facial mask. Just do a facial mask once a week, just to keep the skin looking right. And for some people who care about eyes, eye patches, the nice little cool eye patches under the eyes. Get you some eye cream to pat a little bit. Don't rub it in because under your eyes is thinner than the rest of your skin. That can help a little bit. Put a little eye cream on, do some little glow, if you want to. Those are little additional things. But that is skincare by Ernest. That's how you do it, y'all. That's how I do it. If y'all do it differently, that's okay. But I just feel like people always ask me, what's your skincare regimen? What do you use? One product I don't use anymore and I stopped using for years, St. Ives. Don't use St. Ives scrub anymore, y'all. Sorry, I gotta say it. It will tear the skin. Those little micro beads are not good for the skin. And I heard it's not good for the environment. Don't use St. Ives scrub anymore. I used to use it years ago. They used to be my regimen, y'all, years ago. No, your paste is not a sandpaper. You do not need that tearing. It does tear at the pores a little bit. Fortunately, I was able to recover my walls and my lipids in my face. I'm good, but just don't do it. There's other ways to do scrubs. I recommend natural gel exfoliating gels. that are natural peels. You don't want the stuff with the little products in it with the little pieces, because that is also tearing. It does feel good and you do feel the exfoliation, but the problem is that exfoliation is so harsh on the skin that it could tear at your skin, and you don't want to do that and weaken it. So we need to not use St. Ives. Personally, I don't use St. Ives. So that's skincare by me. Random, but just want to take that moment out there to put that there, because we sometimes underestimate the importance of skincare, and it's fall, and I just love y'all too much to let that keep happening. So in other news, went to Whiskey Fest. Philly Mac hosted Whiskey Fest. It was fabulous. Some of you all saw me in person, took some pictures. Love taking pictures with my listeners and folks and supporters. Whiskey Fest was super lit this year, and people kept asking me, why was it super lit this year? It was super lit this year, y'all, because this year we combined spirits, wines, and whiskey. It was not just Whiskey Fest. It should have just been called Liquor Fest this year, because it was liquor all over. There was lots of good food. Shout out to Star Fusion Express. There was one of the caterers, Whiskey Village. Again, Whiskey Village had to be at Whiskey Fest. The Old Bar, all the Garza spots we love. Lots of great places had good food all over. Dim Sum House, who I love, had the dumplings out. It was a good time. Mr. Johnson and I went. He's like a whiskey, bartender Barry. He loves his whiskey. So he was there trying all the scotches and things. My girl Teresa was there. Hania was there. The girls had a good time. Laura and I, tag teaming, hitting up all the spots, drinking everything. We was a little worried because it was so much drinking going on. The food was running out. I was like, this liquor food balance, y'all. But everyone had a good time. It was super successful. Thank you all for coming out. As editor at large, I just love seeing the diversity of that event, because I always tell people, one thing that's going to bring people together from all backgrounds, ages, and races is some good brown liquor, okay? Whiskey will bring everybody together. That's the diversity of the liquors, and as someone who's not much of a crazy whiskey drinker myself, I enjoyed it. But I really like my clear, so I had to go see Blue Coat. Blue Coat had it going on. I went to the Blue Coat station. They made me an elderflower gin and tonic. It was lit. Loved it so much. So continuing on, anniversary dinner was at Alpenrose, a Schulsten restaurant. Schulsten got a lot of great restaurants. Sampan, Graffiti Bar, Double Knot, Harp and Crown, a bunch of places. They got a bunch of places. But what I really, really love from them is, in addition to the love, I love the love. But what I really love from them was Alpenrose. I hadn't been before. I purposely did not go. We agreed we wasn't going to go. We was going to make this anniversary dinner. So I spent a while not going to Alpenrose on purpose. We had everything. We had the filet mignon. We had the duck. We had the branzino. We had the mac and cheese, the asparagus. They had a butternut squash special that night. We had the rose cocktails, champagne. It was fabulous. Fabulous. Highly recommended. What I will tell you about that place, that's a place you need to make a reservation for. It's also really a date anniversary type of situation. This is for serious long-term relationships. This is not a first-time date restaurant. This is I love you. We've been dating for a minute. You and I have been doing some things for a minute. We're in love, and I'm trying to cut this check, baby, because I love you that much. This is not a first date. I always tell people, watch out for certain restaurants that you might come on heavy, because you might be sending the wrong message if you take someone here. This is a restaurant where you either are celebrating an engagement, you didn't propose to somebody, you marry, celebrate anniversary. It is definitely that kind of energy. This is not just we're just going to come here for a cute little dinner. It's giving grown, mature audience only dinner. Not based on the prices, but the vibe. I don't know if people notice. There's some places that people say, well, where do couples go that haven't dated for a long time? I would say places that are like, I would say fun places that I think when Barry and I was first dating, the dating, the restaurants we went to were not super, super extravagant. I mean, we went to Del Frisco's, which is a little heavy, but we were just young and we was just, but we went to other places. But as we navigate our dating, we went to fun places that were like light and not fussy. We went to, try to think of some places that we went to in the early beginning. We went to a lot of fun BYOBs. We went to like Giorgio and Pine. That was a cute date night dinner when we was very, very young. I mean, we're still young, but you know what I mean. We've been in this game for 8 years. 8 years. So it's been 8 years. But like when we were in our college years, we went to Joe Pine, cute BYOBs, Bud and Maryland's, fun, fun festive type of spots. Distrito, but dinner at Distrito, but it's no longer here. So let me go ahead and axe that. Pattaya, which is still around, very fun place, cute little date situation, not too fussy. Dim Sum House was cute. But then when things got serious, okay, when we was on some anniversaries, we went to Vernick, we went to Laurel, we went to Zahav. We went to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, that's grown up level right there. That's I'm serious about you. Serious about you. Okay. So that's the range. You know what I'm saying? Like Steak 48, we went to Steak 48 as a long-term couple. Okay, we did that right before we were married. I'm serious about you, Steak 48. It's I'm serious about you kind of situation. So these are the restaurants, I would say. And the restaurants that you take people to that you don't give a fuck about. Okay, no, I'm not going to say that because they may think I'm classist. I'm not going to do it. Cheesecake Factory. Bad chains. Let me stop. Restaurants. I'm not going to say there's restaurants that you don't care about. I just feel like there's some ducky restaurants in Philadelphia where people take their mistresses. I'm going to keep it 100. Ocean Prime is a restaurant that if you're trying to hire somebody, like they say, if you're trying to, well, that's a racist joke that someone used to make back in this episode. If you want to take something to hide it from a black person, put it in a book. Racist. If you want to take something somewhere and hide your boo, take them to Ocean Prime. Ocean Prime is definitely a spot to me that's ducky. Every time I have gone as a person that's previewing menus and things there, I always saw people who I'm not necessarily friends with, but people in this city that was bringing people that, yeah, no, you don't. That's where you hide a mistress. Butcher and Singer is another place that you could take somebody if you're in a serious situation with. But I know a lot of bad lawyers who take people there that they dating, that they want to flex to, but they're not trying to be committed to and be serious with. Shade. But like Butcher and Singer is another good plot. But like again, Cheesecake Factory, Ocean Prime, Ducky. It's given Ducky. A couple other places, but I'm just gonna sit down on that. So so as you can tell, I had a good time at Alpen Rose. Other things that's been going on before we get into these hot topics, because clearly there's a lot of hot topics to talk about. I told y'all this is a big episode. I gave my students extra credit if they were registered to vote, and yes, they'll get even more extra credit if they actually go vote. If you're a professor, a teacher, or somebody who got people in your class that's over 18 years old, 18 or older, and they're new voters that can register to vote, encourage this. It's nothing. You're not telling them who to vote for. Let's be clear. But them registering to vote to practice their democratic civil responsibility. Now, let me say this in my opinion. If you are in certain areas with kids that you feel like are not on the right side of the political thing, we don't need their votes. We don't need their votes. But if you're in an area and you know what kind of kids you're teaching, and you have a perception about what their politics are, encourage them to register to vote. So that's what I did. I offered this extra credit in all of my students. I have over 36 kids because I teach two different classes on 2 separate days, Mondays and Wednesdays. They all registered. And I told them they had to show me they confirmation. They did it. Now I need to make sure they vote on November 8th because that's the big midterm day. Now let's see if they vote on election day. but I made sure they had to register, like especially kids that were registering in college, to make sure that they can register on their college campus, because that's the important. The address change is important. They need to change their address so they can be able to vote on their campus. A lot of students are registered to vote, right? But they're not registered to where their voting area is. So if you're registered in Ohio and you came from out of state, you got to vote in Ohio, but you're not going to go you're not take a flight back to Ohio to vote. You need to be registered to vote in the area you're at. So Pennsylvania, we need all those votes, and Cheney is one of them. So very big on people doing extra credit, taking advantage of that for sure. And also, speaking of gifts, I got a lovely gift from a really good friend of mine. I'm going to give a shout out, Abel, who was Barry's best man in our wedding. This lovely gift was a bag. It's a beautiful purple bag. And it was a vintage bag, a vintage, probably like a decoy of this vintage bag that they used to give out during the New York Public Library. And there's a lot of history around that library and that public library. And this is such a very cool, unique thing. The color is very similar and close to the color of The Case for Council Culture, which drops February 21st, 2023. You can now pre-order now, and I'm also doing an audiobook. But the crazy thing about that color design, everything like that, is that it's almost similar to my book. And I said to myself, if there is a situation where I might be on a T-U-R, T-O-U-R, 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 I cannot say it verbatim, T-O-U-R. If I just so happen to do something that was just probably whispered on this podcast, I'll be carrying that bag with me and putting it in there. And that might be coming very soon. And you might be seeing me wear that bag very, very soon. And there might be dates on this certain thing that I can't say, but I spelled. And if you didn't hear it, then okay, don't worry about it. That might be happening very, very soon. But again, thank you for that bag. It will be coming to great use on the East Coast and the West Coast and in other parts of the country. Stay tuned. All right. So it is Red October, and I'm super excited about that because there's so much going on this weekend. So much happened this past weekend with all the sports, all the things happening with sports. Somebody ring the bell. Phillies are going to the World Series. I mean, I'm not really crazy about football, so all this Dallas Cowboys, Eagles shit, I don't care about the NFL, fuck the NFL, but I'm happy for that. It's been a great time for Philly sports teams. Shout out to Red October. It was a great situation this weekend. And of course, you all know that it was my week this week to cook. And Mr. Johnson and I had a lovely, lovely pork roast. I made it, marinated it, and we had it with a very delicious kale orzo parmesan pasta dish. And I also made these honey roasted carrots that complemented it. It was a very fall forward dish. I made this really good glaze, this really good orange brown sugar glaze for the pork roast. It's giving fall. It's giving fall cuisine. And it was fabulous. And of course, red wine, because we love red wine. And it was fabulous. It was divine. So, highly recommend it. Highly recommend that. Highly recommend all the good food and good cooking. But it was a great way to celebrate a good time. A Red October is what they're calling it. And so I loved it. So, I love the sports season. I don't care about the NFL, so I don't care about Eagles and Cowboys. But, you know, it looks like all of our teams are just doing good across the board. And I was happy as a non-NFL supporter. It's great to be able to root for another sports team. And also, let's see what the 76ers are going to bring to the table. Let's see what they're bringing to the table. But lots have been going on. So now, in local news, because there's a lot going on in these races, and I'm ready to talk about it and get some of this off my chest. This situation with the David Jones case with Ryan Parnell, that former ex-cop, this has been grinding my gears. I had to write about it. I wrote about it in a piece that's coming out for Philly Mag about this situation. It angers me what happened here. So, for those who don't remember the situation, Ryan Parnell is an ex-cop, ex-Philadelphia cop. He is a white man, and he shot and killed a 31-year-old man named David Jones. He was a black man who was on a motorbike. There was a confrontation. David Jones fled the scene. This man shot him twice in the back. This man was killed. A grand jury basically made the decision that they should charge this man. He was fired from the police department. It was a big, high-profile case. This case could have been landmark. The trial, I was looking forward to it. Well, the charges have been dropped as of right now, and Ryan Parnell is now a free man. Not because the jury of his peers found him innocent or guilty, but because of the fucking fact that Krasner's office had a procedural error in which they did not provide the grand jury, when they seek those charges, did not instruct them on what the charges were or the specificities of them, which then, as a result, the attorneys that were on Parnell's side, who was representing Parnell, the defense basically brought this up, to which a judge in a court of common pleas agreed that they should have instructed the jury of this information. They did not, and therefore the case has been dropped. Now, let me be very clear before I get into this. Y'all, what the fuck, Krasner? What the fuck? What the fuck, DA's office? Before I get in, because all of these Larry Krasner sycophants are going to be like, oh, look at Ernest, criticizing Krasner. We're going to stop all of this damn stand culture. We got to stop this stand culture to the point where it's letting people not be able to have legitimate good faith arguments. This is a legitimate good faith argument. I am not agreeing with the cops when I say this. Let me be clear that lawyers are going to do what lawyers are going to do. The attorneys that defended Parnell did everything that they was going to do, right? They found a technical error. It was legitimate. This was a legitimate technicality. They fucked up. This is how it is played in the court of law, okay? It was wrong. So now what has to happen is that now, okay, Krasner, the DA's office, has to go back to the grand jury and try to retry this. Now, without the technicality applied, of course, procedural error. They have to correct the procedural. They have choices. Either they can just leave it alone, which I doubt they're going to do, but now they have to retry this entire thing. Or the other option is they can take it to the superior courts, which will take forever to negate the judge's decision. If they do that, that's going to take months and months and months and months. It may only take a few weeks for them to have to retry this back, to then recharge Parnell, to then he has to get rearrested. It might be a whole drama behind that. And who knows, maybe the defense might even try to take this issue to the Attorney General, which is currently Josh Shapiro. And maybe Josh Shapiro, because he doesn't like Krasner, might end up turning around and flipping this and keeping things in place, which might make it harder for Philadelphia to charge Parnell. That's a possibility. I'm just throwing out. This is my theoretical thought on that. But what I will say to you is that they will have to retry Parnell if they want to go and do this case again. They will have to take it back to the grand jury to get them to do, which is a whole procedure. And what I've been hearing from legal experts who actually favor Krasner is they said that the procedural error happened and could have happened because of the fact that Krasner his administration has not hired a lot of experienced prosecutorial people on staff. Now, these people are attorneys, but they don't have the best prosecutorial experience. Like, fun fact, Larry Krasner got elected without ever having to try a case as a prosecutor in this type of way. So he doesn't have this background experience as a prosecutor, and a lot of people he's been hiring in there to shake things up don't. And while that might seem admirable, but he's trying to change the institution, you gotta have people that actually know how to fucking play ball. And these people clearly dropped the ball. The woman, the prosecutor in question, who was a woman who was at Krasner's office, she admitted in sworn testimony that she did not provide all of this information to the jury. Which also, that admission is what led to the judge making his ruling. So there's a lot of things to consider here, and there's a lot of problems that have escalated. And all I got to say is that tighten the fuck up, Krasner. Tighten up. There's been a lot of tone-deaf things from him lately. And I understand there's a lot of pressure and scrutiny. But tighten the fuck up. Because here's the issue. I understand what the Republican agenda is. And some of these backstabbing, snake-ass Democrats right now who's doing it. And I got to call a thing a thing. They're politicizing this to appeal to certain people to get certain money. No one is stupid. Let's call a spade, right? There's a lot of people doing this right now. There's a lot of pressure on the Krasner administration. I get it. But what I gotta be clear on is that if you're fumbling the ball on the justice for the people that support you, right? There are people who want justice for David Jones. There's people who want justice for that family. There's people who are thinking about the entire system and what that case could have meant for a lot of other police that need to be held accountable, right? All of that was in the hand. And now you got the FOP, right? McNesby, the president of the Philadelphia FOP, he is now running around, advocating for Parnell to get his job back, which technically he is entitled to, when you're thinking about situations around all of these conversations about police and all of that stuff. He is technically eligible. Arbitration is what everyone's talking about, right? There is a lot of conversations right now about whether or not he could get his job back or should he get it back. All I know is the police union is definitely going to try to get him back. This man is going back into the force. He could go back into the force. That's serious. We cannot sleep on that. So to all the Crafts supporters, he made an appearance on Fox Good Day Fox trying to say something about the crime has been going down. While there is truth to that point to a certain extent, their gun violence crime is relatively low from last year, a different low, a little lower. That's tone deaf to the larger conversation that's being happening right now, because honestly, last year was one of the highest years. So trying to throw in a figure like that when we're trying to have a larger conversation about how we're still feeling, it was tone deaf and not reading the room. And Krabs has been lacking reading the room for a long time. And a lot of the white saviorism that has been protecting him for several years has now put his whole credibility on the line to a certain extent. It's just time to get the work done. Period. Get shit done. So I just wanted to put that out there. City Council. And I'm not talking about Philadelphia City Council. This time, Philadelphia City Council was just seemed to be a little bit more chill, right? But let's get into what's going on in Los Angeles. Los Angeles City Council, man. Let me tell you something. There is a lot of pressure right now in LA City Council because Kevin DeLone and Gil Cedillo has not yet resigned. There's been a racial scandal that's been happening. Black Lives Protest has been having campouts outside of their home, which DeLone's home is in Eagle Rock. They've been demanding for this man to step down because basically, as some of y'all might know, there was a leaked conversation that was between the former council president, Nuri Martinez, and the former LA Council Federation of Labor president, Ron Herrera. Now, Nuri Martinez, she has resigned. And it was a pathetic resignation because she didn't necessarily apologize. She kind of just, it was pathetic, but she left. Good riddance. And also the LA County Federation of Labor president, Ron Herrera, also resigned. But there are other people involved, okay? And that was Kevin DeLone and Gil Cedillo. They haven't left yet. And they acting like they can't do this. And they need to go. Everyone out here is saying that there's been protests outside City Council. People are raising hell over there in LA. And there's been a lot. And so now they're doing a lot of remotely, they're trying to have their, meetings conducted remotely because of COVID-19, allegedly. But a lot of people needs to go. Councilman Mark Bonin has a black son who was the target of Martinez's offensive slurs. And the problem is that he had to deliver a tearful 12-minute speech at the council chamber. This is embarrassing. So these two need to resign. People want them to resign by next week. They need to resign by Tuesday's meeting. They got to go. Because it's going to escalate, y'all. The racist history of LA oftentimes gets sacked. LAPD, Rodney King, the riots, Watts. Do y'all know the history of LA's racism? Are we going to talk about what happened to the Chinese? Where those Chinese concentration camps were? What? Do y'all forget? So I say this because I've been waiting to have that conversation about all of this. What we got to stop doing, white liberals, because it's not we. Let me clarify this. White liberals and some of my black folks who are from the North, Northerners, that forget that play into this whole racism is deep in the South and blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. It's on the West Coast. It's on the East Coast. And it's an anti-blackness. It's not just being done by white people, but non-black people. The anti-blackness and the racism, these people were Latinx. And people think that Latino folks and Hispanic people, or however people identify within different identities outside of the black community, right? I'm not talking about those who are Afro-Latino because they're black. But people outside of that anti-blackness and that racism has been there in some of those communities. And a lot of people try to do black and brown. And I do, because oftentimes marginalized people that are of color, there are times where we do get similar disrespect by racism. However, I keep emphasizing that anti-blackness has been stronger in this world than anti-Latinx sentiment, because it appears to be that collectively, historically, every other race that is not black are perpetuating anti-blackness at higher levels politically and country. Like, if you look at the history of Brazil on a country level, there has been active anti-blackness of those who were of African descent in Brazil. You look at what's going on in areas like Cuba and Puerto Rico and other territories. Now, Puerto Rico is a United States territory, but I'm saying that in certain Latinx communities, there has been a disdain for blackness. And we don't see that large disdain for Asian culture being perpetuated in global ways outside of white supremacy. Like, I don't see a collective institutional, and let me be clear, because see, this is the problem. And we're going to talk about this on some other topics, because there's a correlation here. We're talking about institutional global. Don't talk to me about some racism on a TV show and movies. Yes, those are very problematic things. But I'm talking about policies and actual cultural erasure and violence. We have not seen that happen on that same level by black people in countries across the world. You do not see it. You see individual hate crimes. You see some stereotypes in media and pop culture in certain cases. There is more black people being institutionally anti-black to other black people than anti-Asian within our community. It is not the same. And we need to talk about these things on institutional levels. We always talk about a reference here, reference there. Black people, we got so much structural racism and anti-blackness impacting our daily lives. I can't even talk about the jokes anymore. Like, the jokes are just jokes. They're jokes and they're problematic jokes, but like, we're not being fucked up by just jokes. It's the same way that I hear light-skinned people. Because we got to go in. I have to call it in my community right now as a black person. We have light-skinned people in our community that try to act as though their experiences as a light-skinned person and the colorism that they face in these social dynamics is the same as what happens to dark-skinned black people in our community. Now, are light-skinned people sometimes being fetishized and eroticized in problematic ways? Absolutely. But I have never seen in the history of human history where light-skinned black people were being completely terrorized structurally, institutionally, and mainstream as dark-skinned people. That is a lie. And the false equivalencies are problematic. Are there things that happen to light-skinned people around racism? Absolutely. By white people. And are there problem jokes and stereotypical jokes that play into fetishism? Absolutely. No one's denying that. But to try to put that experience alongside what happens to dark-skinned people is fucking petty and dumb and pointless. And we need to read and educate ourselves and shut that shit the fuck down today. I told y'all this was going to be a lit episode. So, that being said, back to this. You're seeing anti-blackness. These are Latino individuals in Los Angeles, right? A city that knows a lot about xenophobia and anti-Latino sentiment and a lot of other racism, but yet and still understood that there was something about them that felt more superior to diminish another black person, a black child, right? felt that though. They felt that level though. They was like, oh, we're not black. I've heard and read and have seen a lot of anti-blackness in Latinx community and how they treat Afro-Latinos in our community and what they say to them. Amara La Negra is an example on a pop culture level what happened to her in her career when she started, right? But we look at some of the tropes and the stereotypes and the colorism and the soap operas, the telenovelas, like all of that, and the little names, the little nicknames and stuff they say. And you're talking to somebody, because let's get it the fuck together. Because a lot of times people like to, I'm feeling some type of way about some of the things. You're talking to somebody who grew up in Texas, Houston, Texas, who's traveled throughout Texas, San Antonio, Corpus Christi. You cannot tell me anything about racism in the Latinx community when it comes to colorism, when it comes to interracial relationships, and the situations will be where a Latino woman will marry a black man, have a baby, and they will treat that baby differently. It is real. It is real. There is conversations around skin bleaching and products and proximity to whiteness within that. But see, that's the problem. People don't understand the difference between race and ethnicity. When they say, is there such thing as white Latinos? There are white. Yes, there are white. Spaniards are white. They're white. There's white Latinos, people. Yes, they are. Like, there could be Afro Latinos. There could be white Latinos. Yes, they are. Okay, because we're talking the difference between nationalities now. People say, well, this person from Spain, they're Spanish speaking. Yeah, but they're white. Yeah, there are white Spanish speaking people. But again, I need listeners to tell your friends that there's a difference between race, ethnicity, nationality. These are different. Sometimes there's some intersection, but there's differences. I'll give you another example. When Charlize Theron says she's African American, Charlize Theron is a white woman who's African American. She was born in South Africa and she came to the United States. She is an African American. Get it? Do we get it now? No, we don't get it. We understand it. The nationality did not speak for her race. Okay. just putting it on the table today and leaving it where it's at. So I hope they resign. They need to resign. The Biden administration spoke up and said the same thing. And I'm glad that Biden spoke on that, because, this is just racism. And they're Democrats. They're Democrats, y'all. Ooh, they're Democrats. Because people also try to assume that regionality, racial identity, political affiliation won't stop the racial anti-blackness. It is a very universal thing. Anti-blackness, it crosses over various religious, racial identities. The anti-blackness and political lines, y'all. We got to stop compartmentalizing these identities in certain sects, because, as you all know, this intersectionality, whether problematic or not, is real. So moving along. Biden. Speaking of Biden, their administration just have put out their financial aid forms. Get it now. Go sign up. I called my friends. I made sure my friends got on this. I was not going to leave any of my people behind. I care about this. $20,000 redeemed, forgiven if you do Pell Grants. A lot of my black folks, a lot of my friends, y'all, we got Pell Grants. Y'all got Pell Grants. Y'all get this $20,000 off. And if not, $10,000 off, unless you're making over $125,000 a year. So to all the millennials, the Gen Zers right now, and even if your child is currently in school, for parents, you can still get that money off. And if you put money to pay off some of your stuff recently, and you're like, well, I just paid off some of my student loans, you will get some of that money refunded. You'll get up to $10,000 or $20,000, depending on what it is. You'll get it refunded. The form only takes 35 seconds to fill out. I saw it. I clicked on it. I looked at it for people. Listen, as somebody who doesn't have student debt, I want to support. This is the part. This is using my platform for good. Okay? Because other people are using their podcast for other shit. We're going to get to it. Y'all know it's coming. Don't worry. I got something for that ass. But right now, please take advantage of that. Please look it up. There's plenty of articles. Do it. The deadline is later this year. Fuck a deadline. Do it now. You can even put this podcast on pause and go do it real quick. You can even do it on your phone. Okay? Check it out. And also, you do not have to pay anybody to advise you. There's a lot of these people out here that's paying, that's trying to charge people to do these things. Don't do it. Okay. Well, I'll bring this up. This question has come up, and I'm just going to keep it quick and keep it sweet. Everybody's been asking the question of where Kamala at. Listen, where is Kamala Harris? She's the vice president. Well, this kind of reminds you. Like, a lot of vice presidents in American history oftentimes take a back step in the midst of a lot of things going on. I'm not saying Kamala ain't out there, but Kamala is the vice president of the United States. I think a lot of people assumed that she was going to have higher powers or make a bigger splash. The job is a little thankless, and it's also a job that a lot of people don't really want. I mean, it's a stepping stone to be the next president of the United States. I mean, I was a vice president. I always tell people American history, the vice president who broke this rule was Dick Cheney. Go see the movie Vice if you haven't seen it. But Dick Cheney is a vice president that definitely redefined the vice presidency for himself. Okay, let's be clear. But Dick Cheney, he was the president of the United States, in my opinion. George W. Bush was the president, but Dick Cheney was running things. And, we don't want to see that happen here. I think a lot of people thought that, a lot of people presumed that Kamala was going to be like that, where she was going to be the Kamala Harris show all day. It wasn't. It hasn't been, actually. And to some extent, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't know. I just know that people have been asking that. There's been lots of articles or people asking that question. It always comes up like every 3 months, and then she gives y'all a big splash of things. It's a lot. We'll see. Now, these midterm elections. I just need November 8th, first of all, to just hurry up. I have a TV in my house. I used to never be a TV person, but like now that I'm hosting people over, TV is what brings us together, sadly. But no, TV is good. We catch up on some shows and things. And also I like it because I'm not using my laptop as much to watch stuff streaming. I'm letting my laptop be a laptop. And it's great to be able to watch shows on channels that we're streaming that are not necessarily TV. So like, I watch Zeus Network. And so now I can have my apps connected in a way that I can watch programming. It's kind of cool. But anywho, I'm tired of these ads, y'all. These ads are driving me crazy. I don't like them. I'm tired of seeing them. It's just bad. Dr. Oz got ads out here. Fetterman has his ads. I mean, they're just clawing each other. Josh Shapiro has his ads. I haven't really seen any Doug Mastriano ads. I don't know if it's because he's broke or whatever this he might be. But there's not that many Doug Mastriano ads popping up on my on TV. But there's some anti-Josh Shapiro ads. But I've been seeing a lot of Josh Shapiro. I don't want to. It'll be a little too early. It is Red October for different reasons. October surprises are bound. But I don't know. I really do think, Josh looking good. I'm not going to say got in the bag, but it's looking pretty good. I'll say that much. Now, Fetterman and Oz is getting wild. It's getting wild. Okay, because woo, child. Now, let me get onto this Fetterman thing because a lot of things is going on with Fetterman. First of all, Fetterman, as we all know, suffered a stroke earlier this year. He is back on the campaign, back with large numbers, doing the damn thing, making it happen, making it work. He's doing great work. And he's doing fine. I think there's a lot of people there's been a lot of ableism in media. A lot of people talking about the fact that he needs closed caption to help him read and read things and stuff of that nature. I'm not concerned by that. I don't find that need as this like, oh my God, can he serve the job? I just don't find it as a problem. There's a lot of able-bodied Americans, people who have had different health issues that are fully functioning, doing the jobs they need to do, very proactive and productive and getting shit done. And I just don't know why we're acting like this is impairing his ability to serve and lead. He is sharp. He is going to recover fast. He's been recovering pretty well. He's going to be fine. And the thing is that Oz as a fraud, that's something that's incurable. And Oz that's the step where we are with the stakes. So I'm thinking to myself, what's the point of making this remark? Are we trying to act like Oz is a formidable challenger to Fetterman? Do we think that Oz is a legitimately capable person because he doesn't have to read off of some, read closed caption or anything? Are we trying to assume that that these people are equal and one has a disability and the other is just completely solidly fine? Like, what are we talking here? What are we entertaining here? What are we implying? And I think that that's the real question I've been thinking about, is that there's a lot of false equivalencies happening right now, and we're just normalizing this. We're literally normalizing Dr. Oz as if this is an informed, legitimate candidate. He's not. And the fact that we are in a situation where we're treating him as such on some idea of fairness or what the fuck are we doing? And then we wonder why we're on the brink of fascism. Because this is how you get on the brink of fascism. By acting like both sides are legitimate. No, there is an illegitimate side here. There is a candidate that clearly does not have a real agenda. They don't know where they stand on the issues, and they're trying to buy, thirst, and threaten and bully their way into the Senate. It needs to stop. Like, come on, people. Come on, fucking media. And I'm talking about credible media. News outlets like damn near NBC News. What was the point? What was the reason? Not okay. Not okay. So then we're getting on to what's not okay. And this is the moment for me. So over the weekend on Friday, Amanda, Joe, her boyfriend, her loving boyfriend of many years, for those who have been asking, Mr. Hamilton, Miss Parks, Dr. Parks, Mr. Johnson and I, we had a nice little Friday little hangout. Okay. And I want to say this just before I start this part, that, not that, this is about anything current I'm talking about, but when you host people over your house around dinner hour, the presumption should be that there will be dinner there. If you are inviting more than one person over at dinner time to your place at a dinner hour, and you're hosting them for several hours, the presumption is that food will be served, that there will be things to eat, that you will provide liquor, you will provide drink. I mean, some people are out here throwing brunches for themselves and asking people to come to their celebratory brunches and expecting... Anyway, that's other people. But I'm getting back to my point. My point is that if a person says that you're welcome to come over to your house and host them, you should expect them to have food and drink for them. And that's what I do as a host. And anyone who would think of otherwise, if you don't know, now you know. And the other word that Biggie said that I won't say on this podcast. So anyway, we enjoyed good wings. Mr. Johnson cooked. He cooked 2 wings. He made these really great spices and sauces. We caught up on some great shows. We did everything. But we watched that Friday night debate, that Georgia debate between Democrat Raphael Warnock and, of course, Herschel Walker. They had their candidates debate because early voting starts on Monday. All of my folks from Georgia, early voting is now. If you listen to this podcast, you could go early vote. Because I need all of y'all to get your ass up and vote. There is no excuse. I wish Pennsylvania had early voting, but unfortunately, we're under stupid ass. Anyway, early voting. I wish we had early voting in Pennsylvania. I really do. Because I'm ready to give my vote. I'm ready to give my vote to Fetterman and Shapiro and Davis. I'm ready to just go ahead, take my vote today. Because I'm over all this shit. I'm over it. So to all the people out here in Georgia, go vote early. Because the long lines and all that fuckery is about to take place on November 8th. Let's try to down that as much as possible. Get ahead of it. Get ahead of the curve. Get ahead of the fray. Because it's too much going on right now, y'all. It's too much going on. So, yes. So, let's talk about this debate. We all watched it. And we were shell-shocked by some of the things that we heard. There was some interesting clapbacks. There was some interesting debate. But let's just start off by saying that Herschel Walker is not fit to serve office. Herschel Walker is not fit to be a CEO. Herschel Walker is not fit to be a parent, a husband. He's not fit for anything in life. He needs to just really just take a full break. I don't know. People are trying to figure out, is it cognitive? I'm not going to get into all that. But what I will say, this man has suffered from multiple personality disorder. He has a track record of domestic violence and abuse. He has been a liar. He has been an abuser. He has cheated on his wife. He has had extramarital affairs. He has offered to pay one woman to have an abortion twice. And she did not abort the second child. She had. He has several affairs, several women, tried to pay women, but he's pro-life, he claims. And then he made this little clapback back about some shit about what did he say? It was a conversation about, do you want the people, the government, to be coming in, making decisions for the woman and the doctor? Would you want somebody else in? He said, well, y'all forgot the other person, the baby. Which I'm not even going to entertain the ignorance of that statement. But Herschel was ridiculous. It was also that form is that they really treated this man like he was a legitimate kid. I mean, it's just like, what are we doing? And they did not press down enough, I felt like, on the whole abortion scandal. He just said it wasn't true, and they just left it there. I'm like, wait a minute, can we cite sources? Like, the Daily Beast, put that story out there. There's legitimate news counts that showed that was a lie. You're just going to let him just say it's a lie and keep it moving? I don't know. I would have liked Reverend Raphael Warnock, to push back on that. And he's currently the incumbent. So Senator Warnock, he should have pushed back on that a little bit more. That's one thing I felt like that he should have done. And then, of course, the prop. So in the conversation, Warnock did throw shots at the fact that this man has lied about working for the police, even though he's also threatened to attack the police, while also threatening to be a police officer, which is not true. Why did this man, Walker, why did Walker pull out a fake, I guess, sheriff's badge, officer badge, that is literally from Party City on a Halloween costume, and he pulls it out as a prop? Because it was literally a prop. It was not literally a legitimate police officer badge. And of course, y'all know the internet had to drag it. You know I dragged on Twitter. Y'all was laughing. There's an image of him pulling it out. I said, this is me, because y'all know I love CVS, me trying to use my expired CVS coupon at the register. Because y'all know sometimes them 30% coupons, I don't be looking at the expiration dates, but I know I'm going to try to squeeze it in. Take my 30% off everything. Take my 40% off one purchase. So let me tell you what I do now. Well, I've been having an app, but now they be mailing me the special coupons that cannot be on the app. And so you have to cut it out and you have to bring it physically to the store. And sometimes it is. But I felt like that's how I felt. That picture, that whole situation, like, it was wild. Shout out to the moderator, debate moderator, who definitely pushed back on him doing that. But it was just a show. And it was just like, to me, like, guys, why? And then it was clapping on both sides. I'm like, y'all are clearly electing these people based on your own personal interest. Warnock, you got it, man. He's been dropping the polls. Come on, man. Finish strong. We just got to keep you in there. We got it. This has got to backfire on them. This has got to backfire on them. This cannot last. It can't. It just can't. It cannot. All right. Let's talk about it. Kanye West. So with Kanye, right? We talked about it a little bit last week. The anti-Semitism remarks have carried on this week. This man is on a show. He's on a run. And the issue is in several things. So first, I want to start off by talking about some of the backlash and then get into some of it and then talk about Kanye, because I'm trying to figure out the layers. But there's just been seeming to be a huge rise in anti-Semitism publicly in the public sphere. There's been a lot of ridiculous remarks and nasty things. I mean, Donald Trump, okay, former President Donald Trump got on Truth Social, which is not Twitter. It's his little social app that is now on Google Play. Google app has now taken and allow for the Truth Social app to be there. Now, Apple does not have it on their platform, if I'm to believe. But apparently it's now on Google. And I remember there was a period where they wasn't allowing some of these apps, but they've allowed Truth Social app to be on Google now through Android, which is just such a disgusting thing. It's just completely frustrating and irritating. Like, why is this man having this platform. Like, this is the stuff I'm talking about, y'all. This is the stuff that get people caught up. Like, it's frustrating. So he made a comment. Now, this is Trump, before I get to Kanye, but I'm going to just put this all in perspective. Trump made a comment on Truth Social. I'm going to read exactly what he said, because verbatim matters. And all the major outlets have covered this and has put this out there. And it's just one of those things where it brings up the points I've been bringing up earlier. Because we keep having this problem where we see these remarks get made, we see these comments get made, and everybody keeps, tiptoeing along the lines and all this type of stuff. And I'm just like, it's time to call a thing a thing. So this is what he said. Trump: "No president has ever done more for Israel than I have. Somewhat surprisingly, however, our wonderful evangelicals are far more appreciative of this than the people of the Jewish faith, especially those living in the U.S. Those living in Israel, though, are a different story. Highest approval rating in the world, could easily be prime minister. U.S. Jews have to get their act together and appreciate what they have in Israel before it is too late." So, translation, Trump is telling American Jews that basically, y'all ungrateful. Like, look what I've done for you people. And the fact that y'all are not showing me love, y'all better get on it or it's going to get worse. He threatened them. It's not a dog whistle. It's a clarion gold trumpet, okay? It is clear as day what the fuck that is and what that means. And that shit is anti-Semitic as fuck. And to me, that's it. And I want to say this to my Jewish conservatives. They're not mine. But all of y'all with the Obama oy vey. And for people that don't know what that means, oy vey is a Jewish term, a phrase, a reference that basically means my goodness, oh my goodness, disapproval, basically dismissal, disappointment. It's like people say oy vey. It's a way to just be like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this is happening. Like, so a good example is, there's a new album by, DaBaby. Oh, DaBaby, oy vey. Like, that's the mindset. Like, oh, not again. It's like, oh my goodness. It's a disapproval. The Jewish Republicans back in the day, around 2010, in the early, in the mid of, during Obama's first term, they did not like his stances. They felt like he wasn't tough enough in defense of Israel, which was bullshit. I think that looking back in retrospect, Obama was pretty much strong. But there was a lot of conservative Jewish people that went after Obama heavy. There was tons written about it. Charles Blow wrote an op-ed in 2010 about it. It was called Obama Oy Vey, referencing this remark and talking about how there was a large number of polls that showed there was a high disapproval for Obama. Okay, America's first black president. And there was a lot of high disapproval was coming from Jewish people, many of which felt like his stances on Israel, right? Which, I mean, in retrospect now, 12 years later, a lot of that has definitely quelled down. But there was this concerted sense that there was a strong group of people that wanted conservatives in office. And I remember going to the University of Pennsylvania then, because I was a freshman in 2010 at Penn. I remember Jewish students who were very critical of Obama and wanted to have intellectual, and now I realize intellectually dishonest conversations, but trying to correlate him to being a Muslim, and he was not. Obama is not a Muslim, y'all, but was rooted in Islamophobia, and tried to make correlations that infer that black people were just extremely anti-Semitic, and tried to make this connection of assuming he was Muslim, and therefore his stance on Israel was different because of all of these things. So they tried to attribute to him being black, and they tried to insinuate that he was Muslim. It was very fucking racist, very Islamophobic, and very problematic, and I stand by what I just said. Because again, I am somebody who went into these institutions and had education, understood what those problems were, only to now leave and graduate and be able to tell you all some of these intricate issues. That was what was being said. Okay, and I don't have to say not all Jews, because clearly it was not all Jews that felt that way, because there was a strong liberal base of Jewish voters who did elect Obama for president and gave him a second term. So there are people, but there is a sentiment in the Jewish community that was very heavily conservative, that were also carried ideas that were racist and offensive. And we see this with the Alan Dershowitz of the world, who defend people like Trump and entertain bullshit like that. This is a problem, okay? And it's been a problem. And so here is the reality, is that, and I've said this many years ago, but people was not listening, is that they were so in love with conservatives and said, oh, conservatives have a strong love for protecting Israel. They're pro-Israel, blah, 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 blah. And there was Jewish people that leaned conservative in that argument. But I said, but what about the racism? What about the other hate? What about the bigotry? They didn't care about that. They were one-issue candidates that only gave a fuck about their stance. And they assumed that the love for Israel meant love for Jewish people. I am here to tell you, as a black person who grew up in a Pentecostal church, who understood evangelicals and understood the rise of evangelicalism in America, we talk about in my book, The Case for Council Culture, is that the evangelicals, those extremists, those religious extremists, they like Israel because they look at it as the birthplace of Jesus Christ. And they want to protect Israel for their religious fundamentalism. Like, they don't see it for the people, for Jewish people. They see it as a symbol of Christ, and they're driven to protect it as a sense of protecting Christ's birthplace. They don't see it for Jewish people. They really don't. They're anti-Semitic. Okay, and a lot of their rationale behind protecting Israel is rooted in anti-Semitism. They don't give a fuck about y'all. Did y'all know that? Oh, y'all didn't know that? Oh, okay. Well, now you know. Because if you hear what Trump is saying when he talks about in that statement, evangelicism and supporting him in his stance for Israel, the root is Israel based on their Christian fundamentalism. It was never about their love for Jewish people. Y'all didn't know this? The evangelicals did not care about Jewish people. They cared about Israel. They don't see it for you all. They're waiting for the return of Christ based on their faith to turn that into a homeland for Christianity. That's their belief. They don't see it as, no. These American Christians and Republicans have played you all forever on this issue, and I don't know why you all believe that. And then the racism jumps out. Was it that you all really didn't like Obama and there was a racial bias there that made you all believe, the Mitt Romneys and the other conservatives at that time? Did you believe that relationship between evangelicals, who was literally pushing white supremacy and having anti-black sentiment when they were calling Obama the Antichrist and all these other problems, y'all didn't see that was also connected to their idea about Christian faith and ideals around Israel and how they have shaped their beliefs to believe that that place is a homeland for Christians? Oh, okay. So it wasn't the Islamophobia either, right? Like, that they also was driving a lot of negative stereotypes about Muslims. Or did y'all just conflate black people with Minister Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam? One particular problematic Muslim who carries a lot of problematic ideals that are not only just anti-Semitic, but also rooted in homophobia, transphobia, and other anti-black sexist ideals as well. But I guess no one was doing that unpacking because y'all was so focused on this idea of conflation. And this is why this episode is so important, because I've been talking about this stuff for years. I've been talking about it a lot on this show. But now you are starting to see that white supremacy is a collective. Like, it doesn't give a fuck if you're Christian, you're black, you're Jewish, you're Latinx, you're Afro-Latina, you're light-skinned. It does not care. We will never eradicate white supremacy if we do not address the anti-blackness in the room. So many of you all want to talk about racism without addressing anti-blackness. And I believe that if you address anti-blackness and you unpack that anti-blackness, it will serve as the affinity key to understanding how other forms of oppression operate in the world. Because before there was a Holocaust, there was slavery. And I think people often forget in history that a lot of this stuff is tied in to white supremacy and anti-blackness and how all the other forms of hate to other marginalized communities intersect. I need all of my non-black people and my other marginalized communities to wake up and stop thinking that the haters and the supremacists will not come for you like they've come for my people and people that look like me. They will. They have. They're doing it right now. Trump knew what he was doing. This whole week, to all of my conservative Jews, Fox News, okay, all of those media outlets that are speaking about being pro-Israel are the same ones caping for Kanye West right now. They're coming to his defense right now. And so, what's interesting about the conservative side and the betrayal, or was it ever betrayal? The manipulation, is that I spoke about this on a tweet, several tweets early this week. And I talked about how that it's interesting to me that a lot of white people are speaking out against Kanye West. And I'm not talking about conservatives. I'm just talking, because the conservatives have been quiet, but white liberals and others that have been actively, aggressively speaking out against Kanye West in this act of anti-Semitism, but have completely ignored the fact that Kanye should have been criticized long before for all his other atrocities. Some people try to insinuate anti-Semitism, or they try to suggest that remark that I said was anti-Semitic, and I was like, they didn't say. A lot of it was just saying, it's not, but it's problematic. And I'm like, why is it problematic? Why are you conflating whiteness with being Jewish? I mean, being Jewish is a religious identity, not a racial identity. I mean, do you sense, or did you get mad as a white Jewish person that you felt like you was under attack because you conflate your whiteness with Jewish? Aren't there not other black Jews? There are. You know how I know? I've been to Israel. There's lots of Ethiopian Jews. I went to Ethiopian Jewish orphanage. Got pictures and all. Spent a whole week in Israel. Went to the Knesset, went to Tel Aviv, did the whole thing. Went to Clara, went to the beach, did the Dead Sea, rose and floated on the Dead Sea. Had these great products from Avada. I've been doing this type of work for years. Educating myself, worked at certain places. Just don't know. But assuming because they saw black, they saw he supports Black Lives Matter, so they assume my politics. They assume my understanding of these issues. How racist. And it's funny because some of these people have been, some Jewish people have been coming to me in my DMs that don't know who I am and saying things like, I want to talk to you about your comment, and I don't know if you know this, but there are black Jewish people that are also. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong person. People need to know who they're talking to. We're gonna get back to a minute about people educating themselves on who to talk to and stop making assumptions about what black people know or don't know. Because let's be very clear, black people that I know who's been in movement work have been fighting against all forms of hate aggressively. Y'all know I've been coming after people that's been anti-Semitic for years. I've been coming after anybody who's anything for years. Fatphobic, transphobic, classist, you name it, Islamophobic. We don't play that over here on Ernestly Speaking. But again, when you're so wrapped up in being a one-issue person, then you don't completely shut out every other ism that happens to other people. Or you only choose to get involved in the conversation when it's relevant to you. That's not what we do over here at Ernestly Speaking. That's not what I do as a human. Because my empathy has to surpass my own circumstance. That's what empathy is. Empathy is expression and care for other people outside of yourself. It's selfishness to actually care about only issues pertaining to yourself. Where is the empathy? The empathy for other people of difference. We're lacking that in this country. And that's why we have the problems that we're having, because so many people in our community and our society are oftentimes only talking about these issues as they pertain to their particular respective group. I don't do that. Never have, never will. Because I recognize that the man in that room that is talking shit about women feels some type of way about queer people. And if he feels that way about women and queer people, you're damn sure best believe he feels something about somebody else based on their size, their age, their height. It doesn't stop. Okay? Anti-blackness anywhere is anti-blackness everywhere. A good friend of mine said that. Abdul Ali Muhammad. And some of y'all have forgotten those messages because y'all think that it starts and stops with one person and one thing. And so I have to name the fact that when these moments of anti-Semitism show up in black people, there is a disproportionate amount of public backlash that comes from pop culture than in other cases. I'm not saying anti-Semitism does not happen in other places. It definitely do. Look at Mel Gibson, but Mel Gibson got a career. Mel Gibson still got a fucking career. And people still are working with Mel Gibson in spite of the fuckery. And they should not. And they're like, well, what? Mel Gibson should... Mel and Kanye need to get canceled. But the disproportionate amount of energy that's often given to black people in moments of anti-Semitism, it does feel a little bad faith from some people. Bad faith in the sense that there are people that like to do I gotcha to black people as if, you know, black people have not been calling out internalized oppressors within our community. I don't need to get a what about when so-and-so do something. I'm very much clear about the what abouts in my community. Actually, I've written articles about it. If you fucking choose to read black artists and black writers, I mean, do you just think that we're, you don't formulate an opinion about black people? And then you like to do these imaginary gotcha moments, and black folks are sitting there looking like, black women specifically are looking like, black queer people be like, huh? What? Child, please. Like, that's what gets me. And so, I gotta tell people that. We don't need, you're educating wrong people. You're educating the wrong person. When you try to make assumptions about what my education is, my knowledge is about things. You don't know anything about me if you have not taken the time to read the work. You don't judge a tweet or any individual. You look at everything in totality. I can look at Trump's behavior in totality. With the people that he's aligned with, I know what his politics are. Well, I could have told you that Trump's issues with anti-Semitism is deep because of his relationship with his mentor. Roy Cohn. Do y'all remember Roy Cohn? Anybody? Do y'all even know who Roy Cohn is? Nobody? Please tell me you do. Roy Cohn was a lawyer, a white man, okay? And I'm going to educate y'all about him. This man, he's dead. He's been dead for over 35 years, actually. He was a lawyer, a prosecutor that was known and became very popular for his work as Senator Joseph McCarthy's chief counsel when he was doing the McCarthy hearings. Remember McCarthyism, when he was going out there targeting suspected communists? Yeah. This was the man who was targeting black and brown and marginalized people and trying to label them as communists for McCarthyism. That's how disgusting this man is. He became a political fixer that people knew from New York City, and he was a big mentor, okay, of Donald Trump in his early years. Yes. This is Roy Cohn. He was a mentor. But the real issue with him is how he targeted innocent Jewish people. He was responsible for working as a U.S. Department chief prosecutor when they were trying to investigate and do espionage over Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, to which he prosecuted those people and got them executed in the 1950s. He was horrible. He was horrible. And his reputation got worse after McCarthy's downfall politically. But what's even interesting is that he would later, before his death, he was disbarred, okay, from the appellate division of the New York State Supreme Court because he had unethical conduct. He was attempting to defraud a dying, client by trying to force them to sign a will and try to take their fortune. And he died quickly after that. He was disbarred from AIDS, which he tried to deny that he was suffering from HIV, but there's rumors that he was a closeted homosexual. He was a horrible man. Okay? Horrible, horrible, disgusting man. And very anti-Semitic. Very problematic. He died before he was 60. And this was the man who mentored Donald Trump. He was a notorious racist. He was a huge bigot. He was a disgusting anti-Semite. And he basically killed Jewish people. Well, got them killed, during execution. He prosecuted them, and it was disgusting what happened to them. If you ever look at Julius Ethel Rosenberg, it was ridiculous. I mean, they were accused of spying on behalf of the Soviet Union. All of this other stuff that happened to them. Have you seen? They were basically the first to become. So there's a thing. Have you seen the movie, the miniseries on HBO called Angels in America? I highly recommend you watch it. Al Pacino plays Roy Cohn in this film and this miniseries, which is incredible. Please, 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 please watch it. It is an incredible miniseries. It won a bunch of Emmys. Meryl Streep plays multiple characters, including Ethel Rosenberg in the film. It's a star-studded cast. Lots of Emmys were won. It came out like nearly 20 years ago. I highly recommend watching it. Angels in America is one of my favorite miniseries of all time. It's on HBO Max. Watch it. But I say all this to say that Trump has been affiliated with the most problematic people in our history, and yet people still give this man passes and still act like they can't get this work. But that's what I'm saying. Look at the work. So now let me bring this back to Kanye West and why all this goes full hand. Kanye has been going on his anti-Semitic tour for a while. This week he was supposed to go on a show called The Stoop, which is with LeBron James, that produced show where these people go to a barber shop. I think it's called The Shop or Shop Talk. I don't really watch the show, but I've heard about it. And Kanye was supposed to go on there and he was going to film him. And then I guess the footage was so bad that they decided not to run it. Smart move. But the real move is, why did they have him on there to begin with? What did y'all think was going to happen having him on there? Why do y'all keep giving Kanye a platform to continue to do the fuckery? I mean, good for taking it off, but did you think that he wasn't going to do what he's going to do? This is enabling bad behavior. It's so funny. Everybody want to question John Fetterman's health and mental status, but he has no issues. But you're not recognizing that Kanye is literally having entire episodes and problematic racial episodes, mental health or not, whatever it is, it's causing harm. Impact Trump's intention. And I think he is intending to do this. This is how he feels, because we keep conflating mental illness with anti-Semitism and racism. We're conflating grief with being anti-Black. So you mean to tell me that I lost my father in 2017. I didn't wake up a bigot, y'all. I lost my grandmother, who was somebody I loved 10 years ago. Didn't make me a misogynist. I think motherfuckers need to be careful about how you're conflating these things. I'm sick of that. And we need to push back at that, y'all. Every time someone say, oh, he's not well because he's grieving. No, this is not that. This is not that. We need to stop acting like it's one thing to be self-destructive in ways that cause harm to oneself or fall into depression. But this deliberate anti-Semitism, this deliberate anti-Blackness and misogynoir that's coming out of Kanye, this is not connected to that. It's not the reason. You're treating it like cause and effect. Become bipolar, turn into a racist. No, that is not how this works. I know people who have been impacted and who are dealing with having bipolar behavior. I will tell you this. They're not transforming into a white supremacist, stepping in and stepping out. That's not what's happening. Stop it. Stop it. Stop doing that. And we need to let more experts and pros talk about this. And I'm so tired of it. Just say that you like your problematic faith. Just say you don't give a fuck about everybody else. Just say that you like what you like. Stop trying to intellectualize this. Stop trying to psychoanalyze this and therapize it. Stop all of it. Enough is enough. This man is a fucking problem. He's causing harm. He doesn't need the platform. If you believe that he has all these issues, then the truth of the matter is, if you believe that so much, then believe this and believe it loud and clear. There is no place for this type of hate. There is no room and no space for this type of bigotry, and it will not lead you to the green pastures that you think it's going to lead you to. There will be no good that will come of this. It is not going to happen, okay? And anybody trying to consistently act like there's an opportunity for this is exploiting the behavior. They're exploiting it for views. They're clout chasing. They're doing everything in their power to basically benefit off of this fucking bigotry and this fucking gross display. It's just no good. It angers me. It angers me tremendously. I cannot tell you how much this disgusts me. And the fact that people are still trying to make excuses for this pathetic individual, it's just like, at what point does it stop? So this week, apparently, there's been banks. JP Morgan, I believe, is one bank, is no longer accepting his money, apparently. Candace Owens has put this out there. Whether that's a credible source or not, we don't know. Well, I know she's not the best source of anything. This little Black Lives Matter documentary, child, everybody asked me. Let me say this about this Black Lives Matter documentary. First of all, because I know I go into different episodes. We'll get back to Kanye in a minute, because we're going to talk about Drink Champs. Y'all know what's coming. This documentary, because a lot of y'all like, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Y'all, please. First of all, the documentary, the information, a lot of the facts in that documentary are facts that came from liberal publications that Candace Owens have been shitting on, okay? There was, like, I was a part of a piece, a big old project at the New York, New York Magazine. New York Magazine, let me be clear. It's always these New York magazines. So you remember in February, New York Magazine, there was the 10 years anniversary of Black Lives Matter, but it was commemorating 10 years of Trayvon Martin, his death. There was a big, huge project where they covered different aspects of Black Lives Matter in the group. So I did that big old profile on Campaign Zero, around DeRay McKesson and Jonetta Elzie. Remember, there's a special edition episode if you want to go back and watch that interview I did with Jonetta Elzie about the downfall of Campaign Zero. That was huge. A part of that package was also a piece that was written by another journalist that talked about where the money was with Black Lives Matter, that missing money, and how it was being spent, and how there was concerns and allegations of financial impropriety. There was tons of articles written in New York Post and other outlets that was talking about this, including New York Magazine. People like Candace Owens criticize liberal media all the time, saying, oh, they're not talking about Black Lives Matter, their agenda, blah, 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 blah. Well, what's crazy is that we were the ones who reported on this. Like that was our journalism and interviews talking about how questionable some of the actions were. And the information that is the factual information that she's talking about, she got receipts on, my darling, where did you get that from? Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, the liberals? Oh, okay. And all of these Fox Newses and everyone's running this stuff like they're shocking people. You better cite your fucking sources. People like me and others were already talking about this. Y'all remember my podcast episode on this? I've been talking about Sean King's shenanigans. I've been talking about Patrice Opal's issues. I've been talking about all of those issues with management of Black Lives Matter. Where the fuck have y'all been? Oh, that's right. You've been in conservative land. Do y'all see the pattern of this episode of people in fucking silos making assumptions about the work of others? If you're not studying the beast, don't talk about it. Shut the fuck up. I just cannot take a lot of this woeful ignorance. And then the cavalierness of her walking around acting like she is saying something that no one know. Baby girl, you could Google this and find this. Your documentary was sloppy. Of course it was sloppy. Bad editing, horrible, lack of citing sources. You act like you found something that is months late, honey. It's late, it's tired, it's through. Chopped! Now, the only thing I'll say about that documentary she did was that what she did was she woven her own personal narrative and commentary and her conspiracy theory shit with the facts. And so she gave it her own little spin, and then she packaged that, and now people like her ass and Kanye West's ass is eating this shit up and saying white lives matter. And also, sidebar, I heard some sad news. Lauryn Hill's daughter was participating in that fashion show in Paris around this whole white lives matter. Lauryn Hill's daughter, child, bye. And then she tried to justify it, talking about there was some special, this is deep, and y'all don't get, no, it's not deep, baby. It's just stupid. Toodaloo. So, to make matters worse, and as if you thought things couldn't have gotten any more problematic and annoying and stressful and blah, 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 we did get to the point of Drink Champs. Now, for people that know what Drink Champs is, it has become the new alternative source of commentary, I guess they'll call it, that people have been listening to. It's a part of the trash trio, the perfect trash trio, the Breakfast Club, the Joe Biden podcast, and now Drink Champs. It's the perfect trash trio in the Black community. These are like the three horsemen, the three wrong men. Okay, Charlamagne the God, Joe Budden, and Noriega is now on that list. The three horrible horsemen. These are the three that got the three trash-ass podcasts and audio shows that are fucked up and terrible. They perpetuate a lot of problematic toxic masculinity. They open up space and forums for bigots to speak. Lots of misogynoir, lots of colorism, lots of anti-LGBTQ nonsense. A lot of fucked up shit goes on these shows. So, of course, coming in, there's Noriega, who is also a former rapper, Afro-Latino. He's on the show Love and Hip Hop Miami. Was one of the original major hip hop pioneers, people would say. He's one of the early cats, OGs. I mean, for some time he was decent, or just, where he was at. But with this show, Drink Champs, it has become another platform for a lot of the most ratchet, toxic, problematic members of hip hop. Some of these B-listers, D-listers, and a couple of known stars, some good people like Patti LaBelle came on Drink Champs. There's been some good, decent folks. But then there's also been some, what are we doing here? So the premise of the show basically is that they drink liquor, real liquor. Of course, they're promoting Ciroc because it's connected to Revolt TV, which is, of course, Diddy's little platform. And they drink, and the stars drink, and they get drunk, and in the drinking, they all drink, and then they all kind of get drunk, and these people get real comfortable, and they say some crazy stuff. So basically, it's every publicist's worst nightmare. Like if you have a talent or a client that you would not want them to go on Drink Champ. So that's why I say some of the people that's on this show who, they come on and they drink and they say stuff that probably they go back and watch, they probably would have said or drunk. Some of them even smoke and get high, I suppose. But there's too much going on Drink Champs. But of course, Noriega, the mess starter, the man who wants, relevance, thought that after the fact that the shop, already decided they didn't want to run theirs, and everybody has kind of been backing off, even Fox News. Okay, so after that Tucker Carlson interview that Kanye did with Fox News, it comes out that Fox News had omitted the anti-Semitic footage that was also a part of that interview. And of course, the information leak that they had other footage. So again, this is what I talk about bias here. Fox said to themselves, okay, not the anti-Semitism, but we'll keep the anti-blackness alive and the racist stuff because that, we're okay with that, but we can't let this happen. That's selectiveness. That they were like, okay, we're going to make sure this, like if not a bigot in their full prime. They knew what to take out and what to keep, but all of it should have been cut. Bias, racial bias. And I wonder, was one of the editors of people in that room Jewish? Or they said, oh, I don't want to have this, but I want to keep this? I mean, because you see people do it all the time where they'll pick certain talking points of problematic things that fit their agendas. Interesting. I mean, it's a fact. That's what they did. So the Stoops just said, we ain't running any of this shit. Because they said the shit was just problematic. We don't know what could have been said on that damn thing. But they didn't run it. You would think that Noriega and then would say, you know what? Maybe we should follow what other black platforms are doing and not kind of run this or not give a platform. Oh no, he ran into it. Because he's a big Kanye fan. He calls him a genius. He wants to give him all this praise. And so these dumbasses, himself and this other man who's not black, they co-host the show, invites Kanye to come on this weekend. And Kanye gets on there, and Kanye keeps up with the anti-Semitism, but Kanye also goes as far to make implications about George Floyd. Also entertaining misinformation that was also spewed by Candace Owens. Goes on this logic that it was fentanyl and George Floyd's system, that it wasn't necessarily that the police were standing on George Floyd's knee that led to it was the fentanyl that did. So they try to act like the police did not kill George Floyd. I'm sorry. Did not millions of people see that video? Y'all saw the video. Again, these are agents. These are black agents of white supremacy. Candace Owens and Kanye West. White people, don't ask black people, what about Candace Owens in your fucking life? And don't ask them about Kanye West. Baby, we don't own them. We don't claim them. We don't want them. Okay? But I know white people want them, and the conservatives can have them. Y'all can have Candace Owens, baby. Y'all can have Kanye if that's what y'all want. We'll take Meryl Streep, though. And Julia Roberts. George Clooney, we'll take him. We'll take him too. Hand them over. If y'all want to make a trade. Because Meryl Streep's talent is unmatched. I love Meryl Streep. I like me some Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts will be doing nothing wrong. Fun fact, did y'all know Julia Roberts' parents knew MLK? Did y'all know that connection between Julia Roberts and MLK? That there's a connection between that family? Her family. See, I knew Julia was right. Now, everybody, I'm sidebarring again because there has been some talk about Julia Roberts' love life in the past. Mind y'all business. There's a TikTok that's going viral that talks about how the man she's with, who she celebrated her 20th anniversary with, Danny, okay, was somebody else's before her. But look, they did a lot of things, but at the end of the day, Julia knew what she wanted, and she's still with him. But they were talking about how over the decade, over the 90s, Julia had everybody. Daniel Day-Lewis, Kiefer Sutherland, Benjamin Bratt, who is fine. Benjamin Bratt is fine. Okay, when I look at that Law & Order episode they did together, Law & Order fans, y'all know what I'm talking about. That episode where Julia Roberts make that cameo, baby. Okay, and let's not forget when she won the Oscar for Best Actress for Erin Brockovich, which is one of my all-time favorite films ever. He was with her at the Oscars. They were dating, and then she went to go do a film called The Mexican, and Danny Monum was directing that film. Or he was doing cinematography. I think he was doing cinematography because Soderbergh directed it. Anyway, he was doing cinematography. They worked on that film and they connected and they fell in love. But he was still married. Danny was. And Julie and him, kept some secrets. And then, she wore that notorious shirt because the woman was named Vera. And it was also Aloe Vera. But it was like the woman's name was Vera, and she wore that t-shirt, and Oprah asked her about it. It was crazy. Anyway, love Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts got a new movie with George Clooney. I love their cameos. They're doing another film together coming out called Something in Paradise. I'm seeing an early preview of it. Can't wait. I'll tell you about the film. Because we're back in film review season. It's Oscar season. Lots of films coming out. I got to give y'all reviews. But, anywho, I say all this to say, Drink Champs fucked up by having Kanye. This was a choice. Noriega leaned into it. Kanye got his ass up there, kept pushing anti-Semitism and making other remarks. But he also then upped the ante by now trying to gaslight and claim that George Floyd's death and all of this was not real and trying like it was a big scam. It is disgusting. It is gross. And the fact that Revolt TV aired it, they need to be accountable. Let's be clear. Everyone's like, well, he's not a journalist. So where's the journalist? Listen, y'all, you don't have to be a journalist to have fucking ethics. It's expected for any person that has any type of platform to have ethics. And I think people feel like just because it's not a source of journalism, then there's no responsibility. No, it's called a moral obligation and responsibility. Y'all, it does not matter. I don't think that Drink Champs is a form of media. I don't think people should go there for their news. But you also should not be creating platforms and news spaces, right, that allow people to put out misinformation in general. And then to put out this disclaimer. which y'all know I like to read, and I like to read. I have so much of a drag for this. And I think so much of this has to be said. Because again, people try to cover their asses. I hope if there's a way, if George Floyd and them, George Floyd's estate and his family sue them. Okay, I mean, if you can, if there is a way, if there's some if there's some legality to it, please, because the level of harm that this show has done. So this is the disclaimer that Revolt TV had put out before they aired this stupid ass segment in this show. This is exactly what they said, quote, disclaimer. The primary purpose of Drink Champs podcast, and they put podcast in parentheses, is to provide a platform for creatives to express their personal views or opinions without restriction or censorship. All views or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individual expressing such view or opinion and does not reflect the views or opinions of Sean Combs, Revolt Media and TV LLC, or their respective parent and or affiliate companies, parentheses companies. Y'all, if you gotta put a disclaimer like that, you already know that what you're putting out there is bullshit. First of all, this is why the book, The Case for Cancel Culture, is dropping and needs to come out. Because we talk about the free speech conversation and argument, how it's stupid and the censorship debate is pointless in my book. I cannot wait for this book to come out. What a time for this book to come out. It just was perfect. This is the perfect time for this book. Because there's so much misinformation about cancel culture, censorship, free speech, accountability. And no one has written this book like this in this way, and it needs to come out when it did. I am so happy. I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I'm proud of myself. Because the work that I took to get to make these arguments is prophecy right now. It is living history right now. Every action that is happening, there is a reaction from me, y'all, and there's a lot of me that I want to say so much I want to say, but I gotta let the book breathe. I gotta let the book cook. You gotta let the book cook. Sometimes, you want to get out your bag, and I want to say so much. And so the people who have advanced copies and reading it, I know y'all know this now. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. There's so many layers in my book where I get into stuff like this, and this is a textbook example. What a time to be alive. What a moment to be in. But I say all this to say that these individuals, the Candace Owens, the Kanye Wests, they're agents. They're black agents of white supremacy. I don't expect anything more or less from them. I'm not shocked by what Kanye say anymore. Kanye will say everything as much as he can get away with it. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. What I'm angry about and what I think needs to change are the enablers, the media companies, and the people that continue to give this man a platform to continue to say this shit. Because let me just tell you that this is what complicity look like. Simply saying that you're not responsible for what people say on your platform. If you know that they're bigots and you put a bigot on your show, a bigot will say bigot things. If you put an anti-Semite on your show, they will say anti-Semitic things. If you put a sexist, a colorist on your show, they will say sexist and colorist things. And by you knowing they're going to say that, and you're giving them the space to say that without challenging, interrogating, and disavowing them on the spot, you are complicit, and that is speaking of your views. I believe that the things that Kanye said, Noriega believes them. He believes into them, or he thinks they're valid enough to be promoted to the masses. And for that, your show deserves to be canceled. For that, you're going to learn better than I can tell you. And people need to do that. These shows, these platforms don't need to exist. Yes, cancel The Breakfast Club. Yes, cancel Drink Champs. Because this type of shit will continue to flourish. We will not accept this if it was Fox News. We would not accept this if a white-owned media company or group did it. So why are we accepting it in our own community? I don't understand. Take that anti-black shit the fuck off the air. That's it. There's a position. Because we need to stop doing this. This right here is how people get hurt. This is how you get fascism. Y'all don't see the direction. Y'all want to talk about conspiracy theory. Y'all talk about theories. This is how we got a Holocaust. This is how we got mass incarceration. This is how we got slavery. This is how they do it. There are several levels, 9 steps. You degrade people. You dehumanize people. You strip them of their rights. The way that you get to that point where you completely deny and dismiss and erase a community of people, you have to break them down. You have to legitimize the violence and hate that happens to them. This man is literally justifying the death of George Floyd. He is literally derailing an entire movement that is calling for the uplift of black and brown people. He is literally trying to create disunity and infighting amongst marginalized spaces. He is a weapon. He is an agent of white supremacy. And anybody acting like these are just opinions and views, as a black person who has opinions that have influenced public policy, that have influenced activism and direct actions, whose work and views have fueled movement work, I am here to tell you all that that is how it gets fucking done. Words, opinions, views on large platforms is how you change society, for good or for worse. Hitler knew that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. knew that. Why the fuck are y'all acting like y'all don't see this shit with these people? Kanye West has a global platform. These highly rated shows like Drink Champs and the Joe Rogan Show has millions of listeners and followers. The Breakfast Club is one of the most listened to black radio shows in the country. This is about power. This is about power dynamics. And we keep trying to compare ourselves to the big guys. We're talking David and Goliath. We're not talking about power dynamics. Y'all got to recognize this. When I talk about cancel culture, you're talking about I'm scared I'm going to get canceled. No one gives a little fuck about you, little Rodney, in your little house. We're talking about big corporations. People trying to cancel Kanye is canceling an institution of bigotry and hate. What you say at the barbershop, no one gives a little fuck about you. The fact that you think protecting Kanye means protecting you, you got the game twisted. Because that man don't even want to protect you, and he clearly doesn't want to protect himself. It's time to think bigger. It's time to speak bigger. It's time to wake the fuck up. It is time for an intellectual revolution. My book and the work that I'm doing is a part of the revolution. We need to make America and the world smart again. We need to get people reading again. We need to start calling people out on being stupid. And we need to start telling people they're stupid when they say stupid shit. I'm not shaming innocent ignorance. I will never shame children. I'm not being an elitist and saying that everybody got to get a degree. But if you don't know something, don't speak on it. Read about it. There's a lot of stuff that I don't know, y'all, and I just keep reading. And when I learn and I talk to people and I listen to people, I spend a lot of time as a journalist in my everyday life listening and learning from people. And I connect those dots and I recognize what those issues are. And I want to bring this full circle because this is what I mean, right? About education, understanding people. So with the Dr. Oz and John Fetterman race, right? All this back and forth between them and a lot of the other issues and isms that have taken place, there was a situation, the ads are just getting nasty, right? The ableism, the ads are getting bad. But one thing that took place this week was that Dr. Oz had a black woman that I guess he was photographed with who that individual had lost a family member to gun violence. He politicized this around people. And what people did not know was, and he's gotten coverage now, but that black woman in that photo, her name is Sheila Armstrong. She is an employee of Dr. Oz's campaign. She works on Dr. Oz's campaign. She was used in a way to present Dr. Oz in a misleading way of acting as if he was seeing a black mother from Philly that he was trying to, help. Now, to be clear, the employee, Sheila Armstrong, she did lose a family member to gun violence. Those are all facts. But people also need to understand some history about that situation. This is why doing the work matters, because this was brought up. Sheila Armstrong was going to run for city council against Daryl Clark, city council president Daryl Clark in North Philadelphia. This was back in 2019. She got knocked off the ballot due to signatures and other things. At that time, she had an emotional breakdown, and she claimed that Daryl Clark raped her. This was not true, and she made a Facebook post saying this. Now, let's be clear. When she said this out loud, a lot of people did not take the time to unpack what that really meant, but she was making it a metaphorical term. He did not actually rape her, but she made this statement to try to bring attention to how she said she felt like when she was knocked off the ballot that she was raped, and talked about previous sexual abuse and trauma she faced. It was the most intellectually dishonest act I've seen in city council politics in my career, where I had to see someone take something and use it in that type of way. And something happened with that woman. I mean, she was a Democrat, and then she turned around, and next thing I know, she's out here in her North Philadelphia area pushing Dr. Oz. And I say this to say that there are people out here in our society that will get caught up in experiences that happen to them, become bitter, and then use that to then become aligned with people who don't have their community's best interest at heart. We're seeing that happen with the Candace Owenses of the world. Don't know what the fuck happened with Kanye. I don't know if that's the exact thing with him. But somewhere along the way, people like them have felt disconnected, and they feel like the only way to seek vengeance is to align with the very institution that's hurt them. So you got all this mouth for Democrats, and I have a lot of mouth for Democrats too, but I'm just like, you're going to go for the super losing team? I just don't get that element of it. But then what they like is the tokenizing, because Sheila is getting paid. Not that much. According to financial documents, a little over $2,000. I'm sorry, if I was shucking and jiving, I'd be shucking and jiving to Giuseppe's. I wouldn't be shucking and jiving at all, but if I was, Louboutins at least. I mean, come on, $2,000? That's how much it cost? Democrats, I mean, y'all ain't got no money for Sheila? Because this can't be it. All right, it is. But it's funny because when the money run out, where's she gonna go? But we've seen this happen in the political climate. I remember a woman, and I've spoken about her, black woman, Republican woman who ran for mayor of Philadelphia, and she was a big Trump supporter, and her name was Daphne Goggins. She's passed away. Black woman in North Philly. Definitely pro-choice, had these different views. But Daphne liked me. She liked her some Ernest Owens. It's the most interesting thing ever. Daphne liked her some Ernest Owens. I communicated with her and covered her race. And I remember it was historic because she was the first black woman to get the nomination, the Republican nomination for mayor. And she was going to be the Republican nominee on the ballot. And it was a moment. And everyone was like, wow, the Republican Party's turned new leaf. She's a black woman. She got the nomination. And I was just sitting there looking like, but the racism is there, sis. I see it. It's something about this crowd. They support Trump. It's something off. And lo and behold, she did not get the endorsement of the party. She got the nomination, but she did not get she got the endorsement. But did she get the nomination? She got the endorsement, but then they supported someone else. And that person won the election. And she actually, I think, got knocked off the ballot. She didn't even make it to the ballot. And they supported someone else against her in the end. But she had got the endorsement, but then in the end, they backed her opponent. And she ended up getting somehow knocked off the ballot or something. But when it was all said and done, Daphne Goggins was not the black woman on the ballot against Kenny in 2019. She went on to be very anti-vax. I remember she sent me a lot of information and videos about how COVID was a conspiracy and a hoax. And I was worried about her because she was a black woman who was older. She had some pre-existing conditions. And I was just, said to her with all due respect, say, you need to take, this is not real. I know that you want to be politically aligned with them. And I know there's issues in North Philly, but this is not real science. This is the information she was sending. And she sent me that documentary. And then y'all remember that documentary where these people on the steps, these doctors trying to call out it was conspiracy. YouTube took the video down, all this. And then a couple of weeks after that, she was in the hospital at Temple. And she messaged me. And she was just like, I hope you're doing well. I see you doing all these good things. She was always nice. But she said to me, I've been in the hospital. I said, where you are? She said, I'm messaging you from Temple Hospital. She was telling me that she had COVID, but God got her. And then a couple of weeks later, she passed away in that hospital from COVID. So the same institutions and individuals, right? These Trumpers, these people that perpetuate this hate and create this misinformation. I personally find that her blood is in their hands. And so I know that it's not a matter of if Candace Owens will finally see that day. It's a matter of when she'll see that day. And Kanye will too. This will all be over. This will end. This circus is on the wheels are about to fall off because they done got enough people fucked up for people to say it's enough. It should have never had to take this level to get us here. But we're here. And we need to unify, we need to magnify, and we need to amplify the disdain and the condemnation that we're seeing right now. We have to. Because this has gone too fucking far. It's been going on too far. But I guess black queer people and black women, their voices and their opinions did not matter enough to make y'all do this shit yesterday, yesteryear, yesterdecade. But okay. Here we are. And we need to go forward. To freedom. Now, to freedom. Nicki fucking Minaj. Now, I just want to say this piece I wrote, it is gone viral. I wrote it for the Daily Beast. I love the Daily Beast because they do some stuff different there. I wrote about this hashtag 40-year-old bully. Lotto put the 40-year-old bully thing out there after they got into a feud and a fight. Now, a lot of y'all who are a little bit older than myself may not be keeping up with the interwebs of this Nicki drama. Some of y'all who don't follow pop culture news, why it's a big damn deal. Okay, so let's back this all up. For the past couple of weeks, y'all been following, I've been talking about how the hip-hop girls have been fighting. All these girls are beefing. All the black women in hip-hop are beefing. There's conflicts. There's Twitter fights. There's Twitter battles and beefs. Shout out to Cardi B for, giving me that birthday love this week. We're both Libras and our birthdays are back-to-back. So the funny thing about it is that I'm a year older than her and my birthday's the day after hers and her birthday's the day before mine and her birth date is the day before mine. And her age is a year before mine. So she turned 30 this year. She's born on October 11th. I turned 31 this year and I'm born on October 12th. You see the inverse? So every birthday I tweet at her, we tweet about birthdays and she tweets us besides back. And so she did this year like she did last year. It's kind of dope. So happy 30th. She had a really great 30th birthday party. One in which Jamie Foxx didn't even make it in, which just sidebar before I get into the rest of the stuff. Jamie, you came up in there with 10 people. Bruh, I know you're talented. I know you're great. But how you come into somebody else's party with 10 people trying to get into a party with 10 other people at somebody else's big, huge birthday bash? Jamie Foxx is a legend. I can never take that from him. But you're coming to someone's party that's already at capacity super late with 10 other people in a packed party? Nah, bro. And y'all, LA, celebrities, COVID is still happening. Are y'all doing super vaccinations? What are we doing? Because COVID is still out here. Get that booster. Get that updated booster. Stop playing. Get that updated booster. Okay, moving along. So, yes, Nicki. So, Nicki, once again, getting in drama. The Grammys which the Recording Academy, okay, they just announced their whole categories situation. So right now, the cutoff last week, 2 weeks ago, the cutoff date for Grammy submissions are over. So every album, every artist who's dropping music or coming out with something right now, if your album is coming out next Friday, like Taylor Swift's, oh my God, Taylor Swift's new album, Midnight, is coming out October 22nd. Y'all, I cannot wait. Oh, a new Taylor. Anyway, so she will not be nominated for a Grammy. So when you hear this album next week, you're like, oh my God, this new Taylor Swift album is Grammy worthy. She should get nominated for it. And you don't see it nominated. It's not because she got snubbed. It's because it came out after the Grammy consideration period. So the Grammy consideration period is between anything that is between September, like October 1st to September 30th of that year. So anything that comes out, so right now it would be anything that came out like October 1st of 2021 to September 30th of September 30th of 2022. So it's a year. That's the gap year range. So it overlaps a little bit of last year with a little bit of this year. That's how it works. So when you see a lot of artists drop albums like a lot in December, November, they want the album to be considered for the following year. Anything before then is. So like, for example, Beyonce's album came out, in July. So that's going to be considered in this year's Grammys. The Grammy nominations come out in December. Okay. So right now, between now and December, Grammy voters will be voting, campaigns will begin. People are going to be trying to vie for these Grammy nominations. But before then, right, before the Grammy people, begin to start the nomination process, which started this week, they have to make sure that they look at the right categories of consideration. So this is not Grammy nomination right now. That's November, that's in December. And then from December to like January, voting happens, and then the Grammys are in February typically. So I say all this to say that people submit stuff or don't submit stuff. You find out who submitted stuff, who don't submit stuff. The Weeknd says, fuck the Grammys. He don't submit anything to the Grammys anymore. Drake is supposed to be on that wave too. I don't know all the details, but Drake may not be submitting stuff either. He's not really been fucking with the Grammys for a while. Frank Ocean doesn't submit anything to the Grammys anymore. Not that he's had any new music to submit, but he doesn't really fuck with them either. But interesting enough, other things have happened. Stranger Things. So remember I told y'all that Silk Sonic, I was worried about Silk Sonic and their album probably gonna get named for album of the year, and it was gonna probably be a threat to Beyonce's album of the year bid. Well, in good news, Silk Sonic did not submit anything this cycle. Thank you. I never thought I would like this group. I actually appreciate them for this. Because y'all know last year they took everything, which was annoying. They won Record of the Year, Song of the Year. I think they won like 4 Grammys last year. It was ridiculous. For Leave the Door Open in the last Grammy cycle, which was like early this spring, they won all those Grammys. So they just said, you know what, we feel like it'll be, I think they was like basically like it would be ridiculous or too much if they even wanted more from the Grammys at this point. And also I think that they feel like they would be hated. I think Bruno would realize that if he gets this album of the year and takes this away from Beyonce, people would hate him, and he still got tours and things to do, and he's already got an album of the year. He's won Record of the Year multiple times, like 3 times he's won Record of the Year. He's won Song of the Year twice. This man has Grammys in all the general categories except Best New Artist. He's good. It's greedy. He don't need no more right now. Take a break, okay? And listen, Anderson .Paak has a Record of the Year and Song of the Year Grammy to his name with other ones. And Anderson .Paak is a really great talent, right? And he has an incredible, wild, bizarre life story. Go look that up. I don't want to digress into that, but his life story is wild. Okay, this man has done a lot and have overcome a lot. Shout out to Anderson .Paak. So shout out to them for doing that. Silk Sonic, okay, y'all got me. Y'all, I see y'all. So I wish Adele would do the same, but Adele's not. So I wish she would. So there's a lot of albums going up for consideration for album year for all the categories. We know that Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar's album is in conversation. Bad Bunny's album is in consideration. There's a lot of other albums in consideration. But those are the major players. Harry Styles' album. I didn't hear anything about Lizzo's album. I thought that would be in conversation. It might be still, but It's a lot of albums that's submitting for album of the year, so it might be in there. But those are some of the big contenders. Kendrick Lamar, which I wasn't a fan of this album, but there's some support for sure. Harry Styles is Harry's House. Bad Bunny's album, which has been epic. It's a non-English speaking album. It's a Spanish speaking album. If nominated for album of the year, it'd be the first non-English album to get that type of accolade, and arguably could win, even though I don't think so, because he is been in the Latin Grammys, and there's a whole separate Grammys for Spanish speaking albums. Selena won a Spanish speaking Grammy. Other artists have won. So Bad Bunny, could dominate something like that. I mean, I don't know if the Grammys will feel like, some people from the Recording Academy might feel like that's double dipping. Who knows? So I do see that as, in a way. Harry Styles' album is alright, but it's a summer album. I thought it was very light. I thought it was very basic. It's not a bad album, but I don't see it as an album of the year, in my opinion. But you just never know with these people. Adele is Adele. So even if you agree or don't agree, it is what it is. I've heard Taylor Swift's Red, Taylor's version, which I do love this re-recording, is definitely vying for it. I hope it doesn't win, y'all. I appreciate Red. Red should have won album of the year it won. It should have not lost to Random Access Memory. But I mean, Random Access Memory was a cool album, but Get Lucky was a good album. A good song. It won record of the year. Daft Punk are great musicians. I just don't think Random Access Memory should have won. That to me was just like, why? I didn't see that coming at all either. I just knew in my head. It was popular. I thought Red by Taylor Swift should have won, honestly. And I honestly feel like Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly should have beaten 1989. 1989 is a great pop album, but that should have been a switch up there. If I was, just saying, some of these Grammy wins are a little too much. Adele has 2 album of the years. Honestly, 21 is what she should have won for. I really feel like Beyonce should have won for Lemonade, not 25. And honestly, 30 was cool, but 30 is even, I'm not saying it's a weak album, but it just did not have the cultural impact of the previous 2 albums. Easy on Me was a cute little bop, but they like innocuous music. So I don't know what the Grammys are going to do. We'll see. But that being said, categories. So Renaissance is also in the dance electronic pop category, which is kind of fascinating. It is an incredible dance recording album. I hope it wins. That'd be fun, right? Beyonce is a genre crosser. She tried to get, she got a rock nomination, just like Janet. Janet did this pop and R&B. Like Janet, was doing the same thing with genres. I love that Beyonce is making the music transcend into different stuff. I know she really wanted to get a country nomination for Daddy Issues. But it didn't happen. That would have been cool, because she's doing something different with music. Love her. And I love that she keeps now fact checking the girls and getting the girls together who keep coming at her about all kind of things. And Beyonce often don't respond, but I just love that she's just clapping back. Like when there's this straight up lies being said about her by certain people, she just pulls out the receipts and put out the statement in the press and shut the shit down. And I love how the narrative now is Beyonce shuts down this, or they checked, or she got this person together, so that the spin of the news is not ooh and ah. It's actually making her look better. And I like that for her, because these people are literally trying to clout chase off of her name in ways that are bad faith interference. There are critiques for Beyonce, of course. She's not above reproach. You've heard me on this show. Like the Tiffany situation, I don't get it. I don't know why she keeps fucking with Tiffany. I don't know why they're doing these Tiffany ads. I don't even know why she wants to be affiliated with that stuff. Anyway, that blood diamond stuff, I don't get it, right? That's a fair critique. But this whole Beyonce didn't pay me, or Beyonce used our song, our permission, when you didn't got payments and things. I just love how her statements from her team have been sounding like a remittance like role, like anybody who would have been a payment remittance process. It just states the obvious. Payment was made this date, and the recipient it's just so technical by the book. I love it. And she's giving the girls dates and receipts. Go ahead, Beyonce. But also in this Grammy consideration category situation, okay, there was something else that took place and happened, What happened is that Nicki Minaj, Super Freaky Girl, which she raps in, was taken out and put in the pop category. This started a bunch of craziness on the internet. A lot of people were like, wait a minute, what happened? So Rihanna, no, Floridian slips all the way. I'm thinking about Rihanna going on a world tour next week. Next year, Rihanna is going on a world tour next year, y'all. Beyonce is too. That's why I kept wondering why all the girls were having tours, like Kendrick and Lizzo, everybody, Lil Nas, and they all came through Philly. I was like, why is everybody having all these tours? Because they're like Harry Styles, because they're making way for Beyonce and Rihanna. Rihanna's return, Beyonce's, ball. I mean, it's about to be epic. Arenas, I can't wait. I might be going to 2 concerts. It's a revival. I haven't been to a concert, a real concert, like a real actual arena concert of any nature since, and like over 10 years since. Well, no, actually, I went to. It's almost been there 10 years. Mrs. Carter World Tour, but Britney Spears' Femme Fatale Tour. Yes, so that was like back in 2011. Oh my God, it's been so many years. It's been over 10 years since I've been to a concert, like a big concert like that. I haven't been. So this will be a first. Now, that being said, Rihanna and Beyonce are artists that have had music that have crossed into different genres. Rihanna has had music go in R&B categories like Beyonce. Beyonce has had stuff go in pop categories. Rihanna has had stuff go in different categories as well. The genres are different. With Nicki Minaj's situation, Nicki Minaj's song, she claims she raps in it. It should not be in the pop categories, according to her. It should be in the rap categories. She is calling bullshit and mass conspiracy. Now, on this principle alone, first of all, let me just start by saying that this is not nomination categories. This is for consideration. So nominations have not even been given yet. But I would say that there has been concerns over the years around the racial ghettoization of these categories and who goes in what. It's interesting because most of the time they'll put artists in other categories. But Nicki wants to be in a rap category because she thinks she has a higher chance of winning versus in a pop. Now, let's be clear. You're not having a higher chance of winning anything with Super Freaky Girl. First of all, that song is horrible. It's horrible. Super Freaky Girl is a horrible song. It's a joke. Let's be clear. Album sales and streaming does not necessarily equate to the quality of a song. You could have it's a very popular song, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good song. There's a lot of popular things that are not good. Trump was popular enough to win the presidency, even though he didn't win the popular vote. But yet, that doesn't necessarily mean he's good or of quality. He's not. He's trash. So I just think we get conflated with popularity with quality. Quality things should be popular, but oftentimes they may not be. It's great to have an album like Beyonce's where she can make music that's critically acclaimed and commercially successful. That is not always the case in certain cases. So I just want to make sure that we get this out the way. Super Freaky Girl is one of the worst songs Nicki has put out. It's very redundant. It is pointless. The themes, everything about it is dated. This song could have came out 10 years ago around Anaconda, and I would have never felt like it was different. The flows, everything about it is very much so repackaged Anaconda 10 years later. This song literally could have came out 10 years later. I mean, even using the Very Freaky Girl sample, like how many people are going to use that? I know that Rick James is somewhere, when he's not Rick James, bitch, he's somewhere else. But Rick James is not also a known abuser. Did y'all hear about that Rick James documentary and his past? He is a horrible man. Oh my goodness. But like, again, Nicki, abusers, they kind of go hand in hand with some of these collaborations and these defenses she's been making lately. But anyway, it's interesting that she thinks this song is worth this debate. No album, nothing else, but she really thinks that this should be in contention. And complain about the category placement, not the nomination placement. Now, let's be clear. I remember when Justin Bieber, his song Peaches, no, it was Yummy. Was it Yummy? No, it was Yummy. I think it was, which is a horrible song. it was nominated in the pop category. He was mad that it wasn't nominated in R&B category because he really wanted it to be a reflection of his R&B abilities, and he's tired of being pop. Well, Justin Bieber, you're a white boy. And unfortunately, white artists are never going to be put in R&B categories. Only artist I know have done that was Justin Timberlake a couple years ago with I think that Love Bomb song he did. He actually won Best R&B Song as a white guy. And some people I remember there was whispers about whether that should be in the, pop category. And it was like, why? Because he's white? I don't necessarily feel like Yummy Yum is an R&B song. It fits pop. It fits both. But a lot of artists have different things. So I remember Hotline Bling. Hotline Bling was not a rap song. Drake did not rap in Hotline Bling. It was all singing. Not the best singing, but it was more of a pop song, and it was a pop cultural moment in so many different ways. Well, they put that song in the rap category. He won. Drake was not happy about that. They've been doing that to Drake a lot. And then there's all these weird categories like urban contemporary and all these different types of what does this mean, right? So Grammys definitely get that. And honestly, I understand Nicki's particular critique. I do feel like there's rapping in the song. The song should be in the rap category. It's a little on the pop end too. I can see both, to be honest. I can see both. I can see it being both. But, I mean, like Truth Hurts, right, from Lizzo. Truth Hurts win the pop category, and it won. It did not win it didn't go in the R&B category. And so it makes one wonder, like, how will they differentiate these songs? Like, Break My Soul, is it going in R&B? It's going in dance music recording, possibly. Like, it's just interesting about where these songs will go. And all I know is Beyonce is going to break her own record and surpass, with the Grammy wins, she's going to surpass everybody. She's going to be the most Grammy Award winning artist ever. She's already technically is, but she's even probably going to surpass those who passed away. And not just women. It's most nominated. It's about to be epic for her soon. I cannot wait. But anywho, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in those other categories. But with Nicki's point, and I'm just trying to lay the foundation because I know everything's about to go from 0 to 100 in a couple of minutes. And I just want to make sure I'm laying down the foundation. I do believe that song is kind of weird where it's placed. And I do think it could, I can see a case for both. I think that she raps a lot in the song, and she go to rap category, and she wants to go to rap category. There are artists that try to put songs in pop categories that they got put in other categories. But the Academy is really weird. But I think they just felt like maybe the substance of the song wasn't a good rap song substance. Because let's be clear, Kesha, for example, Kesha used to rap. Katy Perry used to do some rapping. It wasn't good rapping, but it was in a pop way. And so I wonder if they just felt like the song overall and its vibe was. But I also have to push back a little bit because of the Billboard chart placement. Like, why won't they follow what Billboard chart placement has done? Like, Super Freaky Girl has been a super chart climber and chart topper on the hip hop, R&B categories in rap. Like, it's categorized as a rap hip hop song. And everywhere else, it's playing on rap radio, but it's also playing on mainstream radio too. And she claims it's a rap. I don't know. I think it should have been the rap category. There are no disagreements there. But see, this is the issue with Nicki. What should have just stayed in that realm? Nope. Nicki just cannot get over herself. She uses this platform, this opportunity to throw a shot at another artist, and this artist in question is Latto. Latto's a prominent big, name. She's been getting very popular lately with Big Energy. It comes out that apparently she wanted Nicki to be on the Big Energy remix, but of course Nicki declined as the first choice, so then it went to Mariah Carey, and the song got better for it. Big Energy was a big hit. It wasn't number one, it went number 3 on the Billboard charts. But it was a hit. She raps. She's a rising star. And many people are saying that actually Latto could go off to get a nomination for Best New Artist. Sweetie got nominated last year, and the year before that, Meg Thee Stallion won. Like, it's a good time right now for Black female artists in hip hop. Like this, to see this climb. And Lotto has definitely have changed a lot. You know, when she first came out, it was Mulatto. She's done a lot of checking on herself and evolving, maturing. She's in her 20s. She's a young artist. She's doing better. And I'm happy. I was always a fan of Lotto. I liked her older music, and I always liked it. And I think she's grown as an artist. The stuff that she's talking about that's happened in the industry as a Black woman. It's a lot of interesting aspects of her life, and she's grown. Give her a shout out. We love an artist that's trying not to be problematic. Okay? So, that being said, okay, Nicki decides to throw Lotto's name in the conversation, talking about, what's that song? Big Energy, and say, well, why is Big Energy in the rap category? And then makes this massive conspiracy theory about, the record labels are trying to only put certain artists, and they're talking about 360 deals, and that this is the industry, coming at artists like Lotto, and coming to boost artists on 360 deals, and because she's independent, yada, yada. So let me explain some of this independent artist 360 deal type of stuff. So if you get a 360 deal as an artist, that means that basically, you're signed to a label, and pretty much you are allowing the label to basically market you for everything. And they make a lot of money off of you, but you also have the financial backing and support to be taken to the top. So that means commercials, book deals, stream deals, like you get all of those things when you sign. Like your brand expands beyond your albums and your record deals. It's everything. But what comes with a 360 deal is that basically the record label kind of controls your business ventures. You really can't branch outside of the deal. You only do everything through them. So whatever partnerships that they found for you, they can. 360 deals have become more popular over the past decade because, as you know, these artists are not selling albums like they used to. There are pros and cons to 360 deals, okay? The pros is that if you're an artist, you don't have to just be codependent upon album sales to justify your deal. You also get a lot of money up front. You also get the opportunity to have a label support other endeavors that you want financially. And in many ways, you get to be a bigger star faster and richer faster, one would argue. But here's the issue with 360 deals and the cons. The cons is you don't get to own your music. The cons is you don't get to own the rights to those music. The cons are that you don't get to really define and control all of the artistic directions. If you want to go in a different direction, it's harder for you to break out of that if you don't have a 360 deal. You don't own your music and the rights to your music. You don't get to own some of the ways that your music can be used and repurposed. And also, you arguably will not make that much money unless you're a bigger star that have the star pool to do it by yourself. Okay? So that's why a lot of people either do deals where they will do a deal that's directly rooted to the albums, but they do separate stuff. Or they can find ways to branch partnerships. But that's like a bigger artist thing. But Lotto, she's a rising star. Arguably because she got, a 360 deal. Lotto got commercials now. She's doing all this stuff. That's not only because of her own. It's because she's got a team backing her. And they also campaign hard for you for Grammys and things of that nature. So it's good for her. It works for her. Nicki threw those shots about the 360 deal and basically threw that deal at her and is saying that basically she believes that there's a concerted effort from labels and industry mates to push these types of people. Here's another thing to make a point of. Because Nicki is not signed to a 360 deal, Nicki can choose what kind of features she wants to do and negotiate the rates for them. So if you are in a 360 deal, you get put to whatever project you're on. So if there's other artists in the label, they can be able to say, okay, Lotto, you're going to be on this feature with this other artist. And you're like, what if you didn't want to do that feature? What if you didn't want to do it? Or maybe you didn't like that rate. You don't get control in that because they will argue that it's for the brand, it's for the label, and that's part of the 360 deal. Nicki's not signing that, so that's why when you hear these things about $1 million and $500,000, all that for a feature, that's because Nicki does have that kind of control over her career and attributes in that way. So Nicki, if record labels want Nicki on a song, she gets to do a whole negotiation. She's not forced to do it outside of her free will. So you see these record labels like Atlantic and Columbia and Universal, all these people that do these types of deals. And so what Nicki's arguing is that in her conspiracy theory, really, is that she thinks that these record labels are basically trying to turn against her and sabotage her, because many of the Recording Academy, it is industry people, producers and record label deal owners and all these people in the industry, that they feel like this is them trying to blacklist her and turn against her, because of just how she's operated with them and how she's dealt with them. And they're trying to support 360 deal artists under them to be elevated above her. And so she feels threatened by this, and she feels all these issues. There are some legitimate, fair critiques about the industry that she can make and remark. The problem with Nicki is that her internalized sexism and misogyny always puts her in a position where she will always make black women or other people the target rather than talk holistically. She always got to find a target. So she decided to use this opportunity to target and call out and single out Lotto. Why not talk about other men in the industry? Why not talk about, I mean, she did reference Drake in the past, but why did you have to even come at Lotto? And the reality is that Lotto said, and she put out in the tweets, because Lotto definitely came at her and stood 10 toes down. She brought up the fact that, like, you know what, this is deliberate by her. It's not just industry talk. She's used the opportunity to target me because they had a falling out. And apparently the falling out was that there's been some stuff. The receipts were exchanged on Twitter to the point that, you know, I mean, Nicki was calling Lotto, because Lotto is half black and half white. She's interracial. She was calling her a Karen. And it's like, that girl is black. Like, why are you calling her Karen? And, like, it's interesting when Nicki chooses to, because last time I checked, wasn't you, like, defending Becky G or whatever that rapper was that was blackfishing and rapping, and you did that feature? You was defending this girl, this white woman who was blackfishing in music. Wasn't that you doing that shit not too long ago? But now you want to pull this card. Girl, bye. Like, Nicki, bye. Nicki always likes to do the whole, oh, you know, Harriet Tubman. She does a comparison to Harriet Tubman, to freedom, all that. Remember all that crap? Like, she plays into these tropes, into these ideals when it suits her. And it's always on some weak, basic ass shit. So I can't with it. I cannot with that. But she goes after her, and then Lotto claps back and calls her a 40-year-old bully, talking about, and releases this audio recording of a phone call they had, which that was not okay, but she did it. She leaks this phone call where Nicki basically was demanding, like, it looks like this level of respect and homage, and basically felt some type of way about what Lotto was, had said in an interview where she said, look, it was Nicki Minaj and then it was everybody else, which arguably, like, Nicki at one point throughout the decade was, and then Nicki's doing this whole, oh, well, what about the other women in music and this and that? But, like, literally, it was Nicki Minaj who had the dominant career in the past 10 years in hip-hop as a female artist. The type of achievements you're seeing from Lotto, you're seeing from Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, that was not happening in the past decade. Okay? Before 2019, I mean, Iggy Azalea? Because Iggy Azalea was the only female rapper who literally gave Nicki a run for her money. And you already know how problematic that shit was. I mean, she gave Nicki, she had a number one song. She had got all these Grammy nominations that Nicki never got. I mean, Azalea was the one. And remember Iggy Azalea. Oops, Iggy Azalea. Iggy Azalea. Wrong Azalea. Iggy Azalea, white girl, who from Australia, who had the do it like you do it, trying to, blame T.I. because it was T.I. who got her over there in Hustle Gang and all them little collaborations they did and all that shit. He gassed that woman up. And then, of course, Iggy Azalea has been really irrelevant since then. Let's just keep it 100. So, it was just Nicki. There was other, Rashida? There was other people. I mean, Remy Ma. Like, nobody was buying their albums like that. It was just, it's been Nicki for a minute, okay? It's been Nicki for a while. And I think that was a good point Lotto was making in an interview where she was like, look, I think it was an interview she did with Jason Lee or something, but she's like, look, it was Nicki and everybody else, and now, we're coming up there. And she was referring to other female rappers in the game. It's true. Since 2019, we've seen Cardi, we've seen Nicki, Nicki, of course, we've seen Cardi, we've seen Meg, we've seen Lotto, we see Glorilla now got a top 10. Like, it's been a boost. And honestly, it's been interesting because Nicki has not appeared to show as much support for these young artists. Now, there's a couple of features she did with Bia. She just that Super Freaky Girl remix. There's a couple, but like it's been interesting how the tides have turned because Cardi has definitely embraced a lot of these younger female rappers, even in her prominence, even with her Grammy that Nicki still wants to get that isn't looking like it's going to happen at this point. I don't even think at this point Nicki's going to even get a nomination at all. I don't know. Maybe in a featured song or something, but it's just not happening for her anytime soon unless she just has a complete 180, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I say all this to say that this drama has been going on for a while. We've seen a lot of the commentary. We've seen some of the back and forth. And at some point, you just got to put your foot down and just say, nah. You just got to say, no, we're not doing this. Not on this watch, not today. Lotto refers to as a 40-year-old bully. The hashtag 40-year-old bully trended. That was where that came from. I wrote a piece for Daily Beast to explain this. That for people that's trying to say, what about the ageism? What about this? It's not about ageism, y'all. Or what about the men when they do this? Oh, first of all, y'all not talking about me. Because let's be clear, we're bullying. It's specific about the dynamic here. There are plenty of men in hip hop that are bullies. Like 50 Cent bully everybody. We all know 50 Cent's a problem. But most of the male rappers that are beefing with each other, and it's each other. It's each other. Nicki is beefing with artists that are like nearly half her age. Beefing with artists that are young enough to be a little niece to her. She's beefing with artists that are younger than her that are coming into the game. And that's why the reference bully is being used in this way. And that's why people are referencing her age. Because everyone's like, well, she did this. What about when she was beefing with Lil' Kim? Even that dynamic, right? Her and Kim's age is not, I don't remember what the age difference is. But even in that dynamic, people looked at that difference and how Kim was coming at Nicki and them both. But Remy Ma and Nicki are not that far in age. When they were beefing, that wasn't like bullying where you have to name the age. But it's specific about this dynamic, starting with Cardi and all the way down. Like she's having these feuds with these younger female artists. And the irony is that this was where she was 10 years ago. Over 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 2010, Nicki did an interview with Angie Martinez for Hot 97 when Angie Martinez was over there. And this is to promote the Pink Project. This was November of 2010. I remember that interview, and I remember how it was all that talk because she just saw Roman's Revenge. And Nicki was like talking about how she was like, there was a lot of hateration in the Black community and how she felt like she was helping, everybody borrows from each other, and talking about Gaga and Madonna and just talking about like, why is there a lot of hate when it comes to Black women and this, that, and the third. And now here you are 12 years later doing all the things you accused Lil' Kim of doing. You're doing it now. You've become that person that you claimed Kim was. And I emphasize claim, because I think there's some dispute about what that feud was about. And I don't necessarily think it's in the same dynamic of what she's doing now, but I'm just saying that the monster that she framed Lil' Kim to be 12 years ago is who she is acting like right now to these younger artists. And the way that she's going on her platforms and she's throwing these shots and she's doing this to them and consistently framing it. Like at what point do you stop? You're at a level that is unparalleled. You are a pioneer in your own right. You are a trailblazer in your own right. You are a hip-hop legend. No one's ever going to forget the impact of what Nicki Minaj has done. However, it will not be held up in prominence because of the things she's doing now to tarnish her own fucking legacy. It's the same thing with Kanye West. Like, old Kanye is gone. He is so far gone, I can't even remember the good old Kanye days. I'm past it. It's over. He's done. He's washed up. He's tired. He's past his prime. Enough. And there are a lot of people that want to act like they're sexist. Stop weaponizing legitimate critique to support your trash, piss poor fans. Stop weaponizing legitimate terms and phrases and advocacy terms to try to defend shit like this. No. Nicki Minaj, people critiquing Nicki are not sexist. Nicki has internalized sexism. We're actually pushing back on a lot of the harm Nicki has done over the years. Are we going to ignore the fact that there's been reports of the fact that she has led smear campaigns against the victim of her sex offender registered husband? Okay? Are we going to ignore the fact that she basically instigated and encouraged tweets and trash and harassment towards other black women on social media consistently? How she has sicked her fans on reporters that called her out for her anti-vax shit. Nicki's been doing this shit for years now. Okay? Her and her toxic barbs, this stuff has been going on for years. Everybody has seen it. And so I spoke on it. Because at the end of the day, what we're not going to do is keep letting the truth and the free press be silenced and bullied to a pit by these toxic-ass celebrities and their fucking-ass followers. Enough. I don't give a fuck about what no barbs got to say about me. Because at the end of the day, I am confident with myself. I know my work. And the work has been going on for over a decade, unlike some of them and their faves' success. While you're over here trying to come for journalists and come for voices that are respectfully and rightfully critiquing your fave, guess what? Your fave don't even see you. They don't. And this Trump-like behavior that's been going on, it's disgusting and it's tired and it's played out and everyone's over it. It's over it. Get a fucking life. Get a job. Wash your ass. Wash your mouth. And find some self-purpose in life that does not revolve around you harassing and belittling actual journalists doing their jobs and people that speak out on social media. Everybody want to talk about cancel culture, but nobody talks about this kind of shit. Because that's the real shit that's actually bothering the industry. It's the real stuff that's really pissing people off. So at the end of the day, whatever. That's what I gotta say about it. Whatever. Told y'all this was gonna be a super episode. This is a super juicy episode because I told y'all we had a lot to cover. We have lots of ground to cover. Okay? I knew this was gonna be the super episode. I knew it. But it's time, right? So, to all the people out there that's not understanding this, let's unpack this. It's about a power dynamic. It's about the dynamic of age. And how people will weaponize their age and experience to try to bully and belittle people. Nicki has oftentimes touted her years in the game, her seniority, as a way to now harass and belittle these other younger artists. And so now you expect these same people not to flip that coin and be able to say, well, actually, what you're doing in this way, you should know better and you should even be worse. You should be shamed for it. She ought to be ashamed of herself. So please. And as far as conversation about what the men do, yeah, the men been doing it. And the men ain't shit. And the people that are holding double standards shouldn't. And we keep that energy over here on Ernestly Speaking. So, next case. So, wrapping up. I watched a movie this past week. Actually before that, called Tar with Cate Blanchett. It's in theaters now. I need y'all to watch this movie. Cate Blanchett is phenomenal. Cate Blanchett deserves an Oscar. I don't know if she'll win because this category is looking a little intense, but she's definitely a shoo-in to get nominated. She went to Cannes Film Festival. I really loved this performance. Now, this film, however, the film itself is interesting. I don't want to give it away or tell a lot, but it is exploring cancel culture in a very interesting way. Not in ways that I personally think aligns with my beliefs on the topic clearly, but as your favorite cancel culture expert, it's worth watching and considering. I think more and more will be said about it, but there's been some reviews that have critiqued the film, but love Cate Blanchett's performance. I kind of feel the same way, but I found the film fascinating to watch as a cancel culture expert. As far as TV shows go, Abbott Elementary, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good this week. Just this theme around, it's just getting better with wine. Watched it over at the crib with my faves, of course, Mr. Johnson, Amanda, and of course, Joe. This was that event where I came over and showed them, that of course I was going to host them. Of course I was going to feed them. Yes, they ate. They were shocked. They were surprised. First of all, Miss Park should have known better, but Joe, he's learning. But yes, we love this show. This last episode was comic gold. I really cannot wait for this Halloween episode. I keep hearing so much about it. I hear it's going to be epic. Bobby, I love you, Per. I'm going to keep watching, but next. And just in general, I've been watching a lot of different TV, and but then there's some TV I'm just not watching. I have not watched the Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm not getting into that. If any of my friends, anybody I know that's a Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween, I'm telling you right now, cancel. And that's that. And next week. So next week I will be at the Burger Brawl. That's taking place at Xfinity. I'll be there. I'm a judge. I'm going to be doing the burger judging contest. I'm going to be judging the burgers. It's going to be next Sunday. Super excited about that. I haven't judged a food competition in a minute, so I'm looking forward to seeing what these burgers are given. Now, Mr. Johnson thinks this is silly because in his mind, he's like, well, once you get to tasting these burgers, they're going to all taste the same eventually. Not true. As a real foodie, I will tell you that texture, I'm judging, and if you're listening, if you're one of these people at these participating restaurants at this Burger Brawl, I am judging for marinating, texture, temperature, flavor, seasoning, okay? Portion size. I want to see what you're working with. Like, is this a super, super fat burger where it's like it's too much meat? Is it portioned right? And I'm also going to be judging your toppings, because if you just give me a burger with some blue cheese on top, unless that burger is marinated to perfection, I don't know. So we're going to see what was given, what these burgers are giving. But I can't wait to judge and keep y'all updated on that. It's a lot going on this week. It's a lot going on this month. Red October is here, and we're here for it. And, this was a super deluxe episode, as y'all can see. But look, a lot had to be said. And as always, be well and be best.
Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.